Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Here in this phenomenal race, Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see there, Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to PSGL here for the second round of the E-Series Championship, where today we go to the track of Interlagos in Brazil, and yet again a very strong lobby that we got. You know, we got drivers from Ferrari. Also, forgot to mention, I probably should have mentioned this at the start. Veloce Academy is now a thing. It used to be Parnell, but now it's Veloce Academy in a very weird turnover. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's changed. So, Veloce Academy now, Parnell Racing. So, hopefully I won't get mixed up between the two names. Hopefully I'll get Veloce Academy right, and hopefully Josh does the same as well. And yeah, I'm very excited. I had a bit of a mix-up at the start because I forgot to mention that. And it's something I probably should have mentioned as we went on air.
It's nothing too bad as well, just to get on. We're literally 30 seconds in. It's all good. Anyway, hello, Richie. Hello, everybody. Getting ready for round 2 of the season then here. The driver's just loading up into the lobby. Pleasure to be back with you as always. And what a cracker we had to start the season in Bahrain 7 days ago. I've just got my voice back from that, and I seem to be the only person on the planet who enjoyed the Formula One Brazilian Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
Richie, did you enjoy last week? I certainly did.
I did, only the battle for P3.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was it, wasn't it, really? The battle for P3 was, 5 to 6 cars wide as well. It was great. But coming into this one, you've got the championship standings, I believe, to go through, and I've got the calendar.
So the standings are on the board now, and you can see that Ferrari and Race Clutch actually are drawn on 53 points. The results I do have, so we'll have a quick look at them. Actually, no, they're not on the screen, sorry. So the results, it was Dylan Warren who won, ahead of Sergio and Tamashgal. So second and third there for Race Clutch. First and sixth for Ferrari, which was Dylan and Istvan Pukki. Ferrari could have been a little bit higher because Istvan was in fourth, but had a bit of an incident with a couple of drivers, so he dropped down to P6 at the end. So maybe he could have been a little bit higher if he didn't have that unfortunate happening on a few of the closing laps. And then Williams had a decent qualifying. They qualified, I believe it was like 5th and 7th, but unfortunately, lap 1, turn 4, Will Lewis had a bit of an incident with with a couple of drivers, and unfortunately dropped down to the back of the field. He did get himself back up to 14th position, and obviously Ishmael Fassi also finished in 4th position. So 4th and 14th puts them on 29 points. And we have RHG in 4th with 26 points. Same as them is Veloce Academy / Parnell Racing on 26. Then we have TF10 and FVR on 19 apiece. SRT 13 points, Vroom 12, and unfortunately Tamashang Sim Racing had a very poor getaway, finishing, I believe it was 16th and 20th, so only 6 points to take away for them. And I think we've pretty much, Josh, got the same lineup as before. We look at the lineup now, and you can see there's been about 4 or 5 changes. I think we got Tom Prajic in place for Dylan Warren. We've got Xander Van Dyken, which is replacing Ika Buena. And I think Tristan Derbacourt is also replacing one of the people who raced last week from Vroom. So about 3 or 4 different drivers. And another thing to note is if you can see on there, both Williams drivers have a QB next to their name, which means they've got a qualifying ban. Unfortunately, they put their sign up, put their deadline. They missed a deadline for the submission. There we are. So they missed a deadline, unfortunately, and that gives them both qualifying bans. So Williams, 19th and 20th in qualifying automatically. So Q1, a little bit less pressure, isn't it, Josh, for many drivers?
Yes, and that's going to be a lot better because, of course, this for the E-Series, we've got the full qualifying format. Q1 going in, of course, 18 minutes. Now only with 18 cars, we lose only 3 from that session. Then going in as well with Q2, 15 minutes and 15 cars. Q3, 12 minutes and 10 cars as well to set the running order for pole position. So there's slightly less pressure on in this first session. I estimate we're not going to see that many drivers going out in the first few minutes like we did in Bahrain because there's less pressure. Instead of 3 runs, I'm thinking we're only going to see 2, and mainly for the ones who are at the top. If they think they're safe enough, we're only going to see the single one and try and just save a bit going into the next part of qualifying. So it's a very interesting session. Just waiting on a couple more drivers to come in. Let's take a look, though, at the calendar for E-Series as well. Of course, we had the qualifiers back on October the 25th at Qatar. Then we moved over in the Middle East to Bahrain on the 1st of November for round 1. Round 2 of the season, that takes us here to Interlagos, Sao Paulo, Brazil, this amazing 2.667 mile circuit. Then we go to Silverstone next week for round 3 on the 15th of November. November 22nd, the halfway stage of the season takes us to Monaco. That's going to be very exciting. And then on November 29th, round 5, we're at Montreal at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Round 6, December the 6th, we are at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Round 7, December 13th, we're at Suzuka, Japan. And the final round, December the 20th, round 8 of the season, a bit of a Christmas treat for you as well. Back to the Middle East, we're at Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, Corniche Circuit territory as well. 8 rounds take us through the second of the E-Series as well. And qualifying is about to begin, Richie. So we're in for a very interesting run. Just a quick look around the track here as well. As I said earlier, 2.667 miles, that's 4.292 kilometers. It's a very fast track. Also jumping on Carlos Pache as well. Juncao, Ticino de Laga, Retroposta, Senares, Magullo, Suba de Boxes. This is a fantastic circuit. 2 DRS zones, one of them went down towards turn 4, down the Retroposta, one down at Aqua Bananas as well, which is the long run up towards turn 1 and 2. And 15 turns in total. The drivers realistically only feel about 9 of them. So it's a great circuit, but green light is on and the session's underway, and I'll hand over to Richie.
Yeah, we should have the session pop up on your screens at the moment. There we are. So we're heading away now in towards Q1. Obviously, we only have 18 in the lobby at the moment. Both the Williamses will join probably close to the end of Q3. So, yeah, only 3 people go out in this session. And looking through, you'll know what drivers, like Savisan Pukis and Van Dijken, Chonakinchi, Paragis, those will be the types of drivers to get easily through to Q2. So I don't think they'll bother too much at the start of this session. They're not really going to push too hard, I don't think, even on the first lap. Some of them might even only do 1 lap in Q1. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we know track evolution is quite high around here, so some of the slower drivers might have a chance in their second runs to boost themselves up if drivers think, maybe their time's good enough. And then we've seen it before where they think, oh, yeah, we're in P2. We're fine on our time. And then by the end of the time the session ends, they're at the bottom because the track evolution is, ramped up completely. So that could help some drivers, and let's hope people don't make those mistakes around a circuit like this, because starting at the back, with it being full of DRS trains, it's very difficult to kind of move through the field, unless you're on a completely different offset of tyres. So I think, yeah, if you qualify lower, you're going to struggle to get through the field, but, we've got some fantastic engineers behind these teams, which will help drivers try and push through and get some positions where they can. But we've got a few drivers on track, some of them are, I think most of them on the intermediate tyres. We'll have a quick look on the screen. Yeah, all of them, aren't they, on the intermediate tyres? The first one on a lap is Andrei Tarabukin racing here for Race Clutch. Last week it was Sergio and Tamas. This week it is Sergio and Andrei Tarabukin. So he's heading up through in towards turns 6 and 7. I know we're not on the, the proper tyres, Josh, but why don't you give us a bit of a lap attack with Andrei heading down in towards turn 8?
Well, turn 8, of course, translates to oranges. It's a second gear, 95 km/h corner. Then you back up down towards Bico de Paco at turn 10. Second gear again, 85. But then it's a drop downhill into Magullo, a very tight corner that you sort of carry the speed through. Got to be careful not to go all 4 wheels off the track as you come into Juncao. Second gear, 115 km/h. Tight exit, then rise up at 4th gear, 185 before you open up the DRS again. And then it's back down past Suba de Boxes, turn 14, which is pitch straight boxes. Then it's the last corner. The little kink is Aqua Briaris as well, 8th gear, 330 km/h. And then before you're already into the Senares, it's a 1:11.5 as the first time on the board, but that's not going to count anywhere near what we're going to be expecting on the dry tyres. This is very much just getting a lap on the board, make sure everything's okay with your setups, and then go again later. It's a bit of a cheek, isn't it, to use intermediate tyres? They must have picked that up as well from Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda back at Baku earlier in the year in the sprint qualifying format, where they, to get around the rule that you have to use new tyres, they decided to put on intermediates so that they could run in Q3.
Well, it works. So your time here in Q1 with the Inters is not going to get you through at all because you're about 5 seconds off what times would be on the softs. But it's just to get yourself used to maybe your equipment, double check everything's working, so you don't waste a set of softs. Because in a qualifying format where there's 3 qualifyings, the last thing you want to do is waste a set of softs. As Max Fiesel now goes quickest with a 1 minute 11.102. Max unfortunately only finished down in P11 in the race at Bahrain, and I expected him to be in that top 10. So maybe he can have a bit of a change of form today and get himself into where he truly deserves. He's a driver, we've seen before. He mixed in with a lot of the fast-paced drivers. Unfortunately, in Bahrain, he just wasn't at that pace. Maybe it was just a strategy, but he just wasn't where we normally see him. So hopefully he can do something different today and get himself a little bit higher for TF10. Obviously, last week we had Matthew Alder as well in Tier 10. He finished 12 just behind his teammate Max Fiesel. And today they've got a change of driver. They've got Oscar Villicampa, a driver I know quite a lot. I've seen him quite a lot in mainly WR, one of the quick Spaniards of the F1 esports industry. So we'll see what he can manage today for his first round, his debut round here at the E-Series Championship. And then we've also got the 2 Vrooms who are on circuit. Last week we had Boris and I believe it was Andre Molnar. This week we've got Tristan Derbacourt alongside Boris Zakasek. So, as I said before, very similar lineups. Some teams have had no changes, some have just had one. So, there's a lot of familiar faces that you would have saw here in Bahrain last week.
Yeah, Boris just now on the laps coming into turn number 1. Very tight through the center S, as I was saying earlier on. It's a second gear corner, turn 1, down to third gear. Then already down the Retroposta, you're flying down towards maximum 8th gear. Around about 200 miles an hour, you break down into Ticino de Laga, third gear, 145 kilometers an hour, back up, 6th gear, 225 kilometers. And then there's the 2 very tight, 6 and 7, Fedadora. Flick the car in as well, but it's uphill, so the car doesn't want to rotate at the rear, so it's hard to keep it back in. Then it's down into the oranges section, as I was talking to you about earlier on. But this track, it continually wants to push you around. Remember back to this weekend, we saw Logan Sargent and Alexander Albon having problems in the Williams with the front tyres lifting up off the ground. And that's because it is a front-wheel drive circuit. So it sort of picks you in. The rear steps out an awful lot. It's a fantastic track. Anyway, Boris sets his first lap time. This is the first one on softs, and it is a 1:7.983, Richie. And that's a very decent time, but I think we can go quicker than that.
Oh, we can definitely get, I think, probably a second on that from what Boris said. But it is Q1, the lowest grip in this session. So by Q3, you could possibly see the 106s, maybe the very high, very low, 107s. And Tristan Derbacourt, his teammate, is also heading through up towards the line. But I think, we will set his lap time. He's heading through towards that start line. And what will it be for Tristan? It will be quickest by about 2/10 over his teammate there. So 107.679 puts him at the top of the time board for Vroom. And still no one else come out, and it said on my screen that there was on intermediate tyres until they crossed the line, and then it went on to softs. So a bit of a visual glitch there, but they was definitely on soft tyres, hence why they set a 107 lap time. And just wanted to see now if anyone else will choose to come out. Normally it's around that 9-10 minute mark where people tend to flurry at the pit lane altogether to set their first laps. And a team I'm very curious to see where they could end up today is TES. Unfortunately, bit of a poor start. I think, and how they qualified about in 14th, his teammate qualified in the bottom 5. And obviously today with a little bit, lower chance of going out in Q1, maybe they can get both through to Q2 or even a driver into Q3. I know Jan, as I said before, was on to a new set of load cell pedals. That's why he was struggling a little bit. So hopefully him and Nelson can have a bit of a better performance and try and get themselves some points. Only 6 points to take away from round 1, which is about 40 points less than what Ferrari and Race Clutch took away. So they're definitely needing to step up a bit in this Grand Prix. Obviously only 8 races, so there's only limited time to get yourself these needed points. So we'll see what they are able to manage to do today. But I think they've definitely got a chance of improving. Currently sitting 5th and 7th, obviously on the intermediate tyres. So they've made sure they've got their necessary checks, making sure everything's working. So they'll go themselves now onto a set of softs, and then hopefully they can get themselves some very decent banker lap times in.
So, only 2 officials, as Richie's been saying, from the 2 VRMs, and that is the 107.679 and 107.983. Definitely going to get those down by a few pegs. Mercedes are venturing out. Now, is that FVR's
Yep.
Cornely Golo? I believe it is. Who's going to come out onto the circuit? I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I've had both Mercedes right here. They all come now. They're all coming out. So everybody venturing. And one thing I do love about the F1 23 games, the only thing I do love about the Codemaster stuff that they've always done is your driver name goes above the garage door. I think that is so cool. We can do that technology and it can change week in, week out. And yeah, it's just, I love technology. I love it. As they're all coming out then onto the circuit. As we take a look. Currently, I think we're looking at Andre, aren't we? Talbukin in the Alpine. Yep, coming into turn 8 and downhill in towards the Orange's corner.
Yep, so obviously the first driver out now on, well, third driver out on a set of softs, and he's the first of this flurry of cars. I think pretty much everyone now is out on the track. Yes, it is even the 2 VRMs. So they just wanted to get themselves one lap in, you know, just a very sort of banker lap just before everyone else got onto track. And now they can go out yet again and set another banker lap, set another lap. So it means they'll be looking to set at least 2 or 3 lap times in this session. I mean, they'll use quite a lot of resources in this first qualifying, which is something obviously the other teams didn't do, as none of them went out on soft until just around now. So Andre Tabukin, they're going to be the first one to set a lap time on the softs. Both race coaches got through Q1, unfortunately, though. Sergio Serena last week didn't make it through to Q3. He qualified P11. Whereas Tamas Gal put himself onto pole. So Race Clutch looking very decent in terms of qualifying, and hopefully for Sergio can get himself through to Q3, because even though he started 11th, he still finished 2nd in that Bahrain Grand Prix. So a lot of pace and also a very good strategy from the Race Clutch team to get him all the way through the field. And unfortunately, Tamas Gal, who qualified on pole, dropped down to P3, but still very good result for them. So Andre Tabikin heading through now in towards turn 6 and 7. Purple in that first sector, as he's the first one to set a lap set a first sector time. As Fari heads down now in towards turn 7 and 8. Very nice. Then to gear 3. Just want to coast the car in. Don't be too aggressive on the throttle, otherwise you'll end up spinning the car round. And very nice. So heads through turn 9 there, a little bit wide, but nothing too harmful. In towards turn 10, a bit of a hairpin. And then you come back through in towards turn 11. Keep it to the left-hand side. Use that curb for rotation. Be careful in John's because there's a couple of cars just in the way. That was one of the Veloce Academy drivers, but luckily it moved just before that braking, so Andre could cut himself through there. Nice and easy. So he comes through now in towards the final couple of corners. A few kinks to the left. Then he'll come past the pit entry line up towards the start finish. What will it be for Tarabukin for the third lap of the session? It's a 1:07.493, 2 tenths nearly quicker than the Vroom of Trish and Deb, of course. So those guys obviously need to get a very improved lap time. In Nadi Perez only managing to be about 5 tenths off of Andre Tarabukin on a 1:07.9, and Max Wiesel goes quicker by a tenth and a half with a 1:07.3. I'm trying to find who else we can find on a lap time. We've got the 2 SRTs coming through. We've got Jan Halliday pops himself into third, very improved lap time from him there. Then we've got Jenna Kinchi into second. He took, I believe it was first in the first qualifying and first in the second qualifying.
So just
back in Bahrain.
Goes
Josh?
Van der Deeken going into second position. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, you're back now. You cut out.
Sorry, it must be the internet. Yeah, I was just saying, Xander Van der Deeken up into second position. Tomas as well now up into fourth. But I'm watching Cornely Golos. You're watching Lefted as well come up to the line. Very nice lap time here for the FVR driver. So definitely looking strong. As where did Louis Welch end up? From 17th up into 12th on my screen. But Cornely Golos, the last driver to set a time, just up across the line now and improves up only to 13th, 1:07.595. So again, nice separation by what, 0.6 of a second between everybody? Not bad.
Yeah, it is a bit of a separation, and unfortunately the ones out of the session so far at the moment is Boris Sakasek, Louis Welch and Nadi Perez. So one of the SRTs, one of the FERs and one of the Vroom drivers are in the bottom, I suppose you could say bottom 3. Normally it would be bottom 5, but obviously both of the Williams, which is Ismail Fassi, I believe, and Will Lewis racing again today. They unfortunately will start from the back of the grid, 19th and 20th, due to missing the deadline for the lineup submission. Max Wiesel thinks that 1:07.3 is enough. I also agree that a 1:07.3 will be enough. And yet again, RHG showing great qualifying performance, sitting second and third. Xander Van Dijken obviously wasn't here last week, it was Ika Baena, but now Xander pops himself in for RHG.
Kind of glitches out of it too.
And Chana Kinchi also thinks his time is safe enough for 1 minute 07.3. And we'll also see Daniel Kjelsen, very good lap time from him, 4th there for Veloce Academy. Last week, raced as Parnell Racing. This week, they are now Veloce Academy. So congrats to all the people that got into that team, all the managers, engineers, drivers. Very well done indeed to all of you. And he'll be heading back into pits. And Khaldun Ngolo will also be heading back in towards the pits. But I think another surprise is Oscar Villacampa, TF10, sitting down in 14th, only 2 positions away from that bottom 3. That is the last thing he would have wanted. And Xander and Tomac also think their times are fine on a 1 minute 7.3 and a 1 minute 7.4. So, in about a minute's time, we'll see all the others head back out to begin their final runs in Q1. And at the moment, TES looking for a very good improvement. They're sitting 8th and 10th. A lot different to where they was at this point in Bahrain.
Yeah, McLaren not looking that strong, are they, at this circuit? It's the Red Bulls for TF10. Max Vissel at the moment having the advantage, but we've got how many cars now? 4 of them have decided that's enough from that first session, and they think they're safe enough. That's Max Vissel, Xander van der Deeken, Chana Kinchi and Tomas as well, all deciding that's enough. I've just got a feeling that the cutoff time, I think we're going to see Andre Down have to go out again. Maybe even, I don't know. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Definitely Jan Holiday Down will have to go out again. Andre's just on the cusp because it's what? 12,000? No, 6,000ths of a second, something along those lines, quite close to Esteban Piuki. So it's basically whoever gambles. If Andre says, that's okay for me, Esteban won't go out again. You can see Daniel Jensen, I think he's safe enough with the 10s, and he does agree as well with me, 107.419. He's backed out of the session. So we've got 6 to 18 waiting to go back out again. And there's a Red Bull going out there.
Yeah, I think the cutoff will be around maybe a mid-0.5, so around where Sergio and Nelson is. I think those in, maybe even P6 above probably are a little bit safe, but sometimes you don't want to take that risk just in case the track evolution is very high and people find, some very big improvements. So we've got a couple out on track. We've got Andre Tabikum, who's the first out originally. At the start of the session, we got Boris Sakasek, who's now on his 3rd lap, so I believe this will be his 3rd new set of soft tyres. So we'll obviously, for him, seeming to they're struggling to get themselves out of Q1. Tristan also along with him. You got Escavili Campa and pretty much everyone now apart from about 3 or 4. Some Puke. We'll see if he comes out. I don't know if he will. I think he might just about get away with that 0.488, but obviously it's down to his discretion and what he wants to do. So,
I think Andre's safe as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it might be, but it's just you don't take that risk. Sometimes, he might even finish a 10th clear of the bottom 3, but it's at risk. Just say everyone finds an improvement, he could be out in it, and that is the last thing Rage could want. Remember, they are leading the championship alongside Ferrari, 53 points apiece. They don't want to drive racing Q1. That is the last thing they would want.
It's all going to be down to who's got that bravery, who's got that risk, and who's got that gumption to sort of go, okay, we'll go for it. Esteban Puki's backed out of it. Okay, so it's 7 down. So we're calling the American football.
Well, Andre's going to begin his lap first. He's heading down in towards that first corner. We saw him earlier on his first lap. So as more come through, we'll switch over to someone else for the remaining laps of the session. So he heads through in towards the Cenaressis, then through in towards Curva de Sol. And he's backed up already. Invalidated. He's invalidated there, which isn't ideal. Let's hope he can get through with that time of 107.493. So on board with Boris Sakasek now heading down in towards Turfwell. Then the rest of the Reposter in towards the Decida de Lager. Now he's up by half-10th in that opening sector. And very nice there. Oh, and a bit of a slide for Boris through out to turn 5. We'll see if he can hook that up through turn 6 and 7. But that could definitely cost him a little bit of time. So he heads through in towards turn 8 now at the breakings at the hairpin. Turn the corner in. He loses the car completely. Completely loses it. And I think he knew at that point he was going to lose it, didn't he, Josh?
Yep, so that's Boris out of it then. So what about Louis? He's just started a lap time. Nardi Perez in 18th as well, so he's right behind. So we've got Louis and Nardi together on the track. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes driver for SRT, and then the FVR for Perez. First sector for Louis is up, and it's looking quite decent at the moment. But you're focusing on the Haas in the moment with 15th with Tristan.
Yep, Tristan Derbycorp on a very decent lap time so far. Was up in the first. Is he up in the second? Yes, he's, but only by 0.06 of a second. That is going to struggle to get him through towards Q2. So needs a very good couple of corners. And there isn't much corners here, so you're just going to hope the car has lots of straight line speed down towards this first corner. So Simon Rukovski goes into P6 there. Oscar Villecamper on emerging 13th position. Tristan stays in 15th. That could be his session over. Louis Welch up by 0.3 in the second sector. Boris is out of Q1 as he enters back in towards the pit lane. So down to Louis Welch and down to Nardi Perez as they head through out of the final corner. What can Louis Welch do? Can he get himself out of Q1 up towards the line for SRT? Yes, he does. P4 there for Louis Welch as his teammate also goes into P5. Nardi Perez, can he get himself out of Q1 as he goes up towards the line? No, he can't. Very close there, but unfortunately Nardi Perez out for FVR along with the two Vrooms of Tristan and Boris.
What an end to the first session then. So it is out goes Nardi Perez. We already knew Boris is out. Tristan goes too, so the two VRMs not going through. And Oscar Villecamper just scrapes through. 107.589 to Nardi Perez on a 107.619. But Max Wissel topping the session. So it's a bookend for TF10. Not bad at all, but the two McLarens really struggling for TES as well. Look how far they were compared to the two in Bahrain, as Richie said earlier on. They are now 12th and 14th. As it stands, they've got to find a big gain to keep them into qualifying two later on in the session.
They have. It's not the most ideal scenario to be in, sitting P12 and P14, only about a 10th off what the cut-off time was, but still, they only got one through to Q2 last time, so it's an improvement to get two through to Q2. We'll be back with you very shortly. We're just going to have a quick word from our sponsors at GT Omega. Alright, so welcome back everyone, back here now as we can end Q1. You can see there Max Wissel top the session to the two RHGs in second and third, Xander Van Dyke and Chana Kitchen. We have Louis Welch and lefty, Daniel Kjelsen, Tomat Prajdic, Simon Komsky, Kodal Ningolo and Nispan Puk in the top 10. Then we have Andrei Tarabukin, Jan Halliday, Sergio Sobrino, Nelson Alves, Oscar Villecamper. Then unfortunately out of the session is Nardi Perez, Tristan Derbycorp and Boris Sakasek. And also, I suppose you could also say the two Williams as they have got the qualifying ban. So obviously they'll start 19th and 20th. But very short, Josh, will get back in towards Q2, and a lot of pressure on the TES, and I suppose you could say the race clutch guys.
Yeah, Sergio Sobrino down in 13th position, Andrei Charbukin up in 11th place, so they're both really under pressure going into Q2. So the people who dominated back in Bahrain as well are struggling here at Sao Paulo. It just shows you the two different types of tracks they are. And I think it's a great second venue. And I love Interlagos. It's one of my favorite tracks in the entire F1 calendar. This, Canada, Silverstone, Austria, all up there, and Singapore, all up there. Really great tracks and really great races we get from it as well. But Q2's underway, and then now we're going to see what they've got. As for some reason, you've got a lap counter on yours as well.
Yeah, Daniel Wilson's going to be the first out. He's just heading into the pit lane, and I think sometimes drivers can actually lose a lot of time in this pit lane because when you come out of your box and you head down towards that downhill left at the exit of the pits, people sometimes tend to lose their ear a little bit. I've seen it before back in F2 last season. A couple of people lost the rear slightly, and that can cost you a couple of tenths. That can mean a lot when it comes to coming out in towards the field after your pit stop, because around here you'll probably most likely see a one-stop strategy, and around here it's very close. There's lots of DRS trains, so if you go to the pits in third and you come out in seventh, unless you're on like a 5 or 6 lap offset, you're really going to struggle to get back through because the DRS train around here is so strong, and unless someone's making a mistake or your tyres are really, a lot better, you're not really going to make anything work. So, a lot of this track sometimes is down to qualifying, and unfortunately for the two Vrooms and the one FER of Nardi Perez, they're going to have a struggle, I think, through the start of this race. At that point, you might think they might take the strategy, go on to maybe a set of softs, whereas others might go on to the hards or the mediums, just to try and push through a little bit. I think the biggest thing around this circuit is strategy. I think, the racing can be side by side, but with it being, 10, 11, 12 car trains, realistically, you're going to struggle to make more than 1 or 2 positions. So, a lot of it's down to qualifying. At the moment, we've got 15 through, and the 2 TF10s will be heading through to begin their lap. So I'm going to go on board quickly with Max Wiesel.
Max is amazing at the moment out there in the Red Bull. Topped Q1, of course. Can he top Q2 in that Red Bull? Building it up already. This looks like a push lap already in 8th gear down towards turn 1 at the center S. Flick the car in, as I said. 2nd gear, 100 kilometers. He's taking it in 4th gear as well, using so much engine braking as it comes round the curve to Sol. Look at that, already in 6th gear by the time he takes the DRS. Now up to 7th. Remarkable car control there for Max. Down into the first sector. I can't see the sector time, Richie.
16.817.
Decent, very decent time. Up to Ferradura then. Switch the car in, holds that inside line. They just wanted to step out. You can see him having to fight control at the wheel. 3 attempts at the cherry there. Down into oranges. Nicely controlled. Let the steering wheel out quite early. This is looking very tight lap into Pico de Paco. At turn 10, Magullo, turn 11. Sweep it down through. Back on the power. There's an Aston Martin just at the exit there as well. Into Juncao. 4th gear corner, rise up. 185 kilometers an hour, then back on the power. 7th gear as you open up with super boxes. DRS activated, and down we go towards the line. Max Wiesel on the Red Bull does a 1:07.429 and is not quicker than Xander van der Deeken, who's done a 1:07 point correction. Not quicker than the VA of Daniel Jensen, who's done a 1:07.342, Richie.
Yeah, very nice lap time there from Daniel. Just trying to find who's next on the lap. We've got Jan Halliday there into 3rd position with a 1:07.386. Sergio Sabrino's heading through as well in towards turn 12 on a 50.699 in that 1st and 2nd sector split. Isvan Pook is in 4th position. Kodun Ngolo in the top 5. And then we've got the 2 race coaches coming through. Andrei Tarabukin only managing P9 there for race coach. What about Sergio Sabrino? Where can he go as he heads up towards the line? It will be P10 for Sergio Sabrino. So found himself out of Q2 last time around, this time on the cusp of being eliminated in Q2 at the moment with a 1 minute 07.483, only 2,000ths behind his teammate Tara Buchanan. We've got Nelson Alves, unfortunately, who is in P11, followed by Chanakinchi in 12th. He must have made a bit of a mistake because he's a couple of tenths down on his teammate, or he could be on the used tyres. That is also a possibility. Oscar Villacampa then into P13, and we've got Lefty and Louis Welch. Louis is actually on the lap time. He's heading through
He's up to the
towards
line.
the start finish straight. What will it be for him as he heads to the line? Will be P14 for Louis Welch there with a 1 minute 7.658. So not the most decent start there for SRT in Q2. Drivers sitting 14th and 15th. Definitely need to find some improvements. Also, we need to know that drivers could be on the set of used tyres. Hence why the likes of Oscar and Louis are in the 0.6s and Daniel and Xander in the 0.3s.
Yeah, and it was a very good lap from Louis. A lot of overcorrection he had to do on the car as well. And coming out to Juncao, just car was twitching like crazy. So did well to get it around, but doesn't like it at the moment. He's having another go at it right now. Oh, and he's twitching coming into, I don't know if we're watching the pictures now, but he was twitching coming into turn 8 and 9. So under braking, the Aston just looks like it wants to jump out at you. You turn in and the car just goes the opposite way. So it's not looking that planted. He'll do a quick setup. What he can do, of course, because the car goes into park for MA, so he'll do a little change, but maybe just hope that he can hold it up together in the next one. But SHT very much in a bit of a problem here. And as we said, look at RC and TES as well. They're not doing much better. In fact, well, Jan Halliday's doing really well, but Nelson Alves, Andre Telbuking, Sergio Sabrino, they're all in trouble, those 3.
Yeah.
Right, the cut.
See, the thing is, Josh, some of them could be on new tyres, some of them could be on used. I don't have the knowledge to know which times are used and new. So, I don't really know. We don't get on the spectator view. Yeah, it doesn't say on the spectator view which is new tyres and which is used. So I'm just going on the basis of, the likes of Oscar and Louis being that far off. Maybe they're on used. And if you're on the 10th off, surely there's not a 10th gap between the used and new. So that's why I think that Sergio and Andre were possibly on a set of new tyres. So obviously we'll see as the session ends and we're in the middle part of the session now, so everyone's going back out, and we'll see if drivers choose to go onto new tyres. But yeah, if you let us on the chat, what times do you expect to see from new tyres? Because I'm not an expert when it comes to time, so I'm not quite sure. And obviously the grip changes a lot through Q1 and Q2, so also that is also a factor in whether people are on new or used tyres.
And Tristian's left the session for VRM, so he was already out the session, if I'm not mistaken, in Q1. Yeah.
1 second.
And Boris. Yep. So everyone who was in Q1 is now just leaving the session early. So they don't want to. They're just going to watch our stream instead. Hello, everyone.
Right, there we are. So to change a quick setting, so we should be back. Yeah, I have to turn the Discord pings off. Theon, can you stop messaging me, please? I'll have to put myself on Do Not Disturb now. So now we have Max Wiesel. It's on circuit. Was on board with him last time. We'll go on board with Prajdish, who's heading up towards Sabina de boxes, and then he'll head down towards turn number 1. Ferrari sitting 4th and 8th. Remember, they are in the lead of the championship alongside Racecourt on 53 points. So these two need a very good qualifying indeed. And if you would remember back at the last season of esports, Prajdish was with, I think it was Alfa Romeo, so it would have been Nico and I believe it was Danny Berejnay back then. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But he was the driver in that team. Did a few races for the team. Unfortunately, only got a couple of points. But still, you know, tried his best in all the races he could. So he's definitely a driver we should be looking out for in these races. So he goes purple in the first sector. He's heading down in towards turn 6 and 7 at the moment. So we'll see what he can do through that middle sector. But so far, Tomasz looking very strong as he heads through towards turn 8 in this middle sector. Using another curb in that car. Keep it to the inside there at turn 9. Then you can go flat down on the floor as you head down towards turn 10. Obviously, sometimes people tend to lock up here and miss that apex. Is what Prajdish did. Just miss that apex by a little bit. Not too much, but that could always harm your tyres by a tenth or two. So he heads down in towards John Sow, 50,000 subs, so he's about half tenth up on his time. Could put him to around P5, but we'll see what he can do if he can somehow find an improvement in this final sector. This final sector is not a place you tend to find many improvements, so normally you'll probably find half a tenth max in this final sector up to line 4. So he goes into P6 there, just behind Cordon N'Golo on a 107.4.
And Kana Kinche's gone fastest, 107.159. Great time for the RAG. But look at Tomasius in the Ferrari's time. It is 1,000 quicker than Lemonski as well in the VA. He's in P9. But look, he's also 5,000 off for Cornely Golo's time. Really, really close esports series we've got. But Kana Kinche top. Max Wiesel goes into second place as well. Xander Van der Deeken in third.
Yeah, and also on board with the 2 race clushes. Unfortunately, Sergio's invalidated, but Andre hasn't. He's heading through now, up towards the final corner to finish, his second lap time, Veloce.
Sorry to cut across, left it up to 7th place, but now that's already takes up base to Ampuki.
This Hurricane goes 8th place. We're on board with Oscar Villacampa. He's down, so he's not going to complete that lap time. Praj is currently, for Ferrari, out of qualifying, as that was Nelson Alves popping himself up into P8 there. We've got Louis Welch. He's up by a couple of tenths. We'll see if he can get himself out to that bottom 5. His teammates on the cusp. Will it be one SRT knocking the other 8 at this point in the session? Yes, it will. Lefted now into the bottom 5. Louis Welch into the top 10. So at the moment, as it stands, it is lefted, Codon N'Golo, Oscar Villacampa, Thomas Prajdish and Sergio Sobrino, which are out of Q2. Obviously, one more lap left to go in this session, so you can get yourself back in towards that top 10. But TES on a really good, bouncing back very good. They're sitting 3rd and 8th at the moment, could get themselves through both into Q3. Very different story from what happened last week. Veloce Academy as well doing another superb job, sitting 5th and 6th at the moment. If you don't know, they are previously Partner Racing, now Veloce Academy, so that's why it's VA and not PR now. And then also Ferrari, 7th with this Van Pookie, decent but not ideal. And Thomas Prajdish in 14th position. When you're leading the championship, the last thing you want to be is in P14 and out of Q2. So just Sobrino also currently out of Q2 at the moment on a 1 minute 7.483. Is he invalidated on his lap time? He was up by a couple of tenths, but unfortunately that invalidation completely ruined that lap. So big shame there for Sergio Sobrino, but hopefully he and his teammate can try and fight back, because 10th and 15th isn't really safe at all.
No, it's not. And look at that, just 3 tenths between everybody in the field as well. So I was just watching on the timing screen, trying to work out who's safe and who's not. I can't. They are too close together. I think the top 3 are safe, but everyone from Xander down might have to go out again. And that's just because of the track evolution you've got going on. But even then, they're doing 107.2s, and then you've got people in 107.4s. So do you then go from everyone is to Van Pookie down? They have to go out again? Does that mean that both VAs are safe? It's so hard to tell. Improvements can be minute in esports, and they can be just minute around Interlagos as well. So I can't tell you for certainty exactly who's safe and who's not. I hope you might have a better understanding, Richie, to
Well,
see if you know.
If
'Cause
you
I'm
want
struggling.
I suppose you could say professional answer, maybe everyone with a point 2 down should go out as that is not safe. If you want my honest answer, I do not have a clue. So we'll see
Yeah.
who goes out. I think the top 2 should be safe. Those down, I think they probably will go out just to be safe. I think,
Max. Oh,
Jan thinks he's
Jan's.
fine with the
Yeah.
point 2. So maybe point 3's down will go out. Istvan Pukki definitely needs to go out because
He's
his
gonna go
time's
out
only a
again.
10th off. That I don't think he's safe at all. Obviously, all those 6th, 7th down definitely need to go out, get themselves a lap time on the board. And Will Lewis in the chat, double SRT Q3 needed. The people's heroes. Well, I will agree. And
Here we
well,
go.
it seems to get qualified you as you'll unfortunately be starting down in 20th or 19th, depending
Right.
which position
Everyone
you take.
from. It's Xander down. So it was what I thought. Xander down is going out again. So 4 down is so that's it.
And Shanakinchi.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Oh, and that doesn't count the 5 place group penalty. That's interesting that kind of Kinche wants to go out again.
Well, he either doesn't think he's safe or he just wants to be a little bit more safe. Or he just
Scrub
wants to
the
be able...
tires?
Maybe he just wants to be able to, have the fastest lap by about 3/10 because he's already on a very good lap time already. So yeah, we'll see what Chan does. I don't think he'll be pushing too much because I think he's pretty much safe. But you never know. Anything can happen in esports. 5 people go out. Maybe it is Chan, Max, and Yano go out if they don't improve. We don't know, but we'll see in the next couple of minutes as we are go on board with Xander Van Dijk, and who's heading out of John Sow up towards that first corner. And Louis Welch getting a penalty. That is going to be voided as the game gives us small glitches, and Louis Welch getting 10 seconds worth of 10 places worth of penalties. So then Van Dijk,
because it'll be black flags soon, and he won't be able to do qualifying.
I think it happened before in a league race to someone. I think they got about 5 and they got disqualified, which it isn't ideal. So, heading down towards turns 1 and 2, Xander Van Dijk on his final lap of the session, currently on a .261, should be safe, but you never know what can happen.
Zan has actually gone again, so he has properly gone again to do a run. Yeah, okay. I meant kind of Kinche. I think it says Xander. Oh, and Xander's lost his lap time. He's run wide at the exit of Decina Delaga. So Xander van der Deeken will not improve. A 107.261 will have to do on that run. Now he's going to have his teammate coming up right behind him. Although if he saves enough battery, he might just cross the line in time to do another lap. So it's not over yet, is it? With 1 minute to go. 45 seconds to the lap. So if he just really saves that battery, lifts and coasts so much, he might be able to just sneak another lap in because the fuel light hasn't come on.
No, Lefty's on a lap time. Andrei Tarabukin was down by 2 seconds in his first set, so I think his lap time is also finished. So he needs to try and hope, if he can, to get back round and set one final lap. But that is not ideal when you're sitting down in P10. You don't want to be making mistakes at the first couple of corners on your final runs.
Yeah. Right, here comes Kana Kinche then. He's going to be across the line first. And he has already set an improvement in the second sector by 10,000. So is this quicker than a 107.159 across the line? Yes, it's a 107.149. Exactly 10,000ths of a second faster. Improvements left, it goes up to second position, 107.163 as they come across the line. And then we're going to see Daniel Jensen, he with a time up. He'll be the first one to meet the checkered flag. And Jensen goes up to third, 107.188 as well. I think they're coming across the line. We're going to see Lemonsky stays in 8th. Into the pit lane comes Nelson. He's just on the cusp. Louis Welch is in 10th. And I think he's out of the drop zone at the moment. Yeah, Louis goes 7th. Lemonsky 9th. So Istvan Pukki's in trouble in 10th position. Nelson Ives as well in 11th. Nelson now down to 12th. Thomas only goes into 10th, so he's kicked out his teammate. Istvan Pukki's going to kick out one Ferrari. He's kicked out his teammate. Pukki goes up to 6th position. Thomas down into 11th. And we've got Corley Golo 13th. So it's all down to Andre Charbuki at the moment in the RC, in the Alpine. He's on the last lap. Oscar Villacamper's out of it, and out goes Charbuki. According to my screen, he's crashed out. So that's it. He won't improve in the session. So it is Thomas out, Nelson, Corley Golo, Andre, and Oscar Villacamper will not be taking further part in this session. Big news was that Istvan Pukki kicked out his own teammate. Great stuff from Louis Welch to get through, and Xander van der Deeken did make it through with a 172.16, the cut-off time of 172.73.
Well, I knew Jan and Max are cutting it tight. It was P5 and P7. And if we had a few more improvements, it would have been possibly out of qualifying. But the big names out this session are Tomasz Prajic and Andrei Tarabukin. Ferrari and Race Clutch are both having one of their drivers out, and they're leading the championship. So, very good position for the likes of, well, I suppose you could say for Williams, but unfortunately, they're starting 19th and 20th. So the next in line is Veloce, who've got both drivers through into Q3, Daniel and Shimon. So they're looking in a good position if they can try and get, maybe some even more better times in Q3, get themselves into around that top 5 area. Could be very good for those to move themselves up the standings, and also very good thing to see. A lot of people very happy is that SRT, both drivers through, lefted in second position, and his teammate Louis Welch down in ninth. So both SRTs through into Q3, but we'll run through the order. So Chenakinchi did take the quickest lap time in Q1 and Q2. Then we have lefted Sergio Sobrino, Daniel Kjelsen, Max Wiesel, Van Pookie, Jan Halliday, Xander Van Dijk, Louis Welch, and Shimon Lekomsky. And then Thomas Pradjic, Nelson Alves, Kodun N'Golo, Andrei Tarabukin, and Oscar Villacampa are out in the qualifying session. So 1.2 tenths separating the top 10 and 1.3 tenths separating the top 11. So you only have to be just over a tenth off to be out in Q2. That shows how close that this grid is at this point.
Really good session then coming up, isn't it, as well, for the next one. I'm looking forward to the final of Q3 taking us in to the race, and that's coming up shortly.
So, we can see now, the driver's back in the session, and it's a little bit more overcast this time, so not as much sun, but it is getting later through the day, and now we're coming to the part where we generally have the better grips, so the times will be a lot quicker than they were in Q1 and Q2. And, well, it seems in the chat, a lot of eyes are on SRT. So let's know in the chat, everyone, who you think will take pole position here for the Brazilian Grand Prix. I have an idea of a couple of names I think that will pop up in that chat. So let us know who you think will take pole. So, a couple of cars ready to go out. One of the Red Bulls, that'll be Max Wiesel, heading out first on towards circuit. And also you can see one of the AlphaTauris as well. Both the AlphaTauris heading out on circuit as well. That's Daniel and Shimon Lekomsky will be heading out to set their first times of Q3. And also the SRC have lefted, I believe, or Louis Welch also heading out to set their first lap times of Q3. So we'll probably see pretty much everyone on a U set of tires. I think Chenakinchi might be on a new set because he only set one lap time in Q1 and he set 2 lap times in Q2. So I think he might have a spare set of softs.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're right on that mathematicals. I'm trusting you on that. You've been keeping account of them, obviously, throughout the broadcast. So, total of 12 minutes with 10 drivers going in. And I don't think I can pick a pole position. It's either Xander or Max for me.
I'm not going to pick one because I don't want to look silly at the end. But there's a couple of people in the chat who have predicted one. We've got Christian Clausen saying Grandpa Max. Jack West saying Conor Muir for pole. That's lefted. And we've got Admire saying Max Wiesel. So a couple of votes for Max, one vote for Conor. So yeah, well, we'll see if they can try and adhere to that prediction. So a couple of drivers now heading through. I think it'll be the first one on that one will be Jan Halliday. He brushed through the field. I think he was about 5th or 6th on that train. He's now going to be the first one to set a lap time in this session. So we'll see what he can do as he heads through. Out to John Say will be starting his lap through out to turns 13, 14 and 15, which is more literally just kinks left. They're not really corners, and oh no, Jan's going to go back into the pits. So quick out lap, back into pit lane for Jan. Very swift. So Sergio Sobrino will be out on track as well. We've got the 2 VAs, so we'll go on board with Daniel Kjelsen, who will be the first to set a lap time here for Veloce Academy, who so far, under their new name, are doing a very good job to get both their drivers through into Q3. Daniel and Simon, of course. And Daniel, Josh, he's just heading down in towards that first corner to begin his first lap of Q3.
Yep, down through the centre S's, coming into the Curva de Sol. Then it's the Retroposta, where the DRS activates as well. Exit from Marshall Points 4. Total of 30 metres after the exit turn 3, then you break down around about 50 metres, and then the DRS automatically snaps shut. Very good opening gambit then from Daniel's first sector. Oh, and Thomas has already left the session, but he was out in Q1. Ferradora flicks it in, 2 rights uphill before 3rd right at turn 8. Oh, a lot of curve there, down to 3rd gear. That was nicely taken. Nice and controlled through oranges at 9 as well. Into turn 10, Pico to Paco, flick the car in, 3rd gear, nice on the power, through Magullo. This is looking a very good lap time here from Daniel. Let's see how he handles Junkao. Flicks it in, 3rd gear, a little bit off at the exit, but got the pace through, controlled it nicely. I'm enjoying this lap from Daniel Jensen here. This is very good stuff. Through Super to boxes, into Aquabriaris as well, across the line. First lap on the board in qualifying 3 is a 1:07.395. We know they can go quicker, but that was a very stable lap time there.
It was, and we got lefted with with an invalidation. Sergio Sabrino also with an invalidation. Lukomsky also with an invalidation. So 3 drivers there out of 5 invalidating their runs, which is not ideal. Louis Welch didn't invalidate. He's just heading now down in towards turn 11 at Magulio. So we'll see what he can do on his lap. So I'm heading down in towards John Sow. 50.866 there in that first sector and second sector combined for Louis Welch. I believe that at the moment is around a 1 minute 7.5, 1 minute 7.6 as he heads up towards line. So we'll see what he does as he comes through out of the final corner, past the pit entry line, up towards the start finish straight. What will it be for Louis Welch? 1 minute 7.627. So very nice lap time there for him. And you can see Lefted just heading through out in towards turn 10, but he's not on a lap time as he's got the flashing red lights at the back of the car. So it means he's harvesting his battery, I believe.
Sergio's got no delta at all. He's got no battery, but he is pushing on a lap here. I think he just wants to get a time on the board and then come back into the pits, to be fair. But he's got no battery power, so we'll keep an eye on what Sergio can do with no battery at all. Jan Halliday's just lifting, coasting on an out lap as well. So, yeah, all looking very strong, as I believe Xander van der Deken started a lap time. He has, into the Senna S. Looks nice to me. Flicks it through Curva de Sol. And then down the Retroposta once more. DRS activated. Already used about 40% of his battery, Richie, before he gets into that turn 4 at... coming through the inside line.
Yeah, well, using a lot of battery down towards turn 1, and then obviously a lot of battery also down towards turn 4. But then through this section, you can harvest it back a little bit, so you can save some battery through this slower middle set. So down towards turn 8 for Xander van Dijk, and very nice so far on his run. He heads down towards turn 9, then you flick it back out wide as you head through in towards the bit of a hairpin corner at turn 10. Big had a packed out. Very nice so far from Xander. He comes through in towards the long left at Magulio. Then he'll come down towards John Sayre. So we'll see what he can do in that middle set to combine with the first. 50.49449. So that'll put him on around a 107.1, depending what he does in this last sector. So through the last couple of corners, all the way kings to the left. Then you'll go past the pit entry line. What will it be for Xander van Dijk as he heads up towards line? Will it be a 1 minute 7. Oh no, 1.7.9. So he must have made a mistake at the exit of John Sow. It's on Pookie. Goes pole there with a 107.048. Chana Kinchi also on that time. He's heading down towards turn 4 at Jan Halliday. He's just heading through the end of that middle sector. He does a 50.405 in that first and second combined. Very nice there of John Sow heading through to the final couple of corners. We'll see what Jan Halliday can do. Can he put himself onto the front row for TES as after a poor qualifying and poor finish in Bahrain, try and get some redemption here in Brazil up to line. A 1 minute 7143 puts him in second.
And Kanakinche is looking very good, but he's not on good delta. He's already ran out of battery power on this lap time as well. So I think he's coming back into the pit lane after having his first lap time invalidated as well. Max Wissel is on a lap time at the moment, looking very tasty indeed. 16.7 was his first sector. Sector 2 is in now, coming into Bico Tobacco through Magolo and then into Jean Cao. This is the driver between him that could take pole position. Look very strong, very good second sector as well. Now, just keep literally foot to the floor, as George Morgan would say, pedal to the metal as you get in the last corner. Open up the DRS to the line. Is this pole position for Max Wissel? Yes! It's a 107.007.
Very nice up there for Max. Just about 30 thousandths ahead of his son Pukis. Obviously, those are the, well, I think those three there, Max, this one, and Jan, were the first ones to set their Q3 lap times on the new set of tyres. Obviously, they'll all have new sets as well to do their final run. So, you know, fourth down, haven't really set much representative lap time on the new tyres in Q3. So we'll see who can take pole. But the likes of Lefty, Chan, Shimon, and Sergio. A couple of them invalidated, and I think a couple of them just let off on their laps. So, and you can just see Jan entering the pits. Max Wiesel will also be entering in towards the pit shortly. He's just heading through out of turn 9. So, qualifying last race at Bahrain, it was Tamas Gal for Rescotch on pole. It was Chana Kinchi second for RHG. And it was Iswan Pookie third for Ferrari. Iswan Pookie is currently sitting second. Chana Kinchi currently sitting in P8 without a lap time. And Tamas Gal obviously isn't here today. It's Sergio Sabrino, who's in Q3 for Rescotch. He was out in Q2 in Bahrain. So, very good indeed for him to put himself into that top 10 for the start. And you can just see now Max Wiesel enter back into the pits. About a couple of minutes left to go before they all head out back on track to start their final runs in qualifying. So let's know in the chat one final time who you think will take pole position here in round 2 at the E-Series Championship. We've got a couple of people, as we said earlier, about Max Wiesel. Nicholas Longo says he's from P3. And then Jack West said about Mia being on pole. So let us know in the chat what you think. As in a couple of minutes' time, we'll see them all adventure out onto track.
We're looking forward to see what kind of Kinch's lap time can be in the end. The same goes for Sergio Sabrino as well. They were doing really strong first sectors before they lost their lap times. A bit worried about Lefted as that he got so close and then had to go out. And look, immediately, Xander van der Deeken's going out there, not happy with the 107.918. He's literally 9/10 off the pace of Max Wiesel. And these are two drivers that I tipped for pole position, Xander and Max. So, yeah, a lot of improvement still to be done with 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yep, and David Trabucci just joined back into the lobby. It doesn't matter anyway, he was out in Q2. Tommen says Louis for pole, so we'll see what Louis can do. He won in F2, if you remember, last week for round 2, so maybe, you know, it'll shadow and he can get pole in the win here. Is it likely? Probably not, but can it happen? Of course. So obviously we'll see what Louis can do. He's currently in 5th on a 107.627. And on board with Chana Kinchi, going to be the first to set a lap time. His teammate Xander Van Dyken just sitting behind him as they head through in towards turn 6 and 7. We've got Sergio Sabrino, the 2 Veloces, the 2 SRTs, and we've got Max, Jan, and Istvan will be the final ones to head out onto circuits. So the final few laps in, and Josh, one last time, who do you think will take pole?
I'm going to stick with Max Wiesel, who's currently in P1. I think he's got it in him. I don't think we're going to see... I think he might just go below onto a 106.9.
Oh, okay. So 106.9 there from Josh for Max. We'll see what he can do. I'm not going to put a voting because I don't want to look silly at the end. So Chana Kinchi going to be the first to set a lap. He's just heading out of Junsao shortly before he heads down in towards turns 13, 14 and 15, which is more literally just Keats left. They're not really corners at all. I don't class them as corners anyway, but of course the track does. So, DRS Open, down towards that first corner for Chana Kinchi. We'll see what he can set for his first and final run here in Q3. Down towards the center. He's very nice so far. Down to 4th gear, get back on the power as early as you can. Try not to run wide at the curve of the soil as you head down shortly. Down the rest of the box with a bit of DRS. And obviously Jan there just getting himself penalty. That is void, as we'll have a restart either way after qualifying. So down to turn 4, 16.684 there for Chana Kinchi in that first set. Very decent centre. Indeed, and he validates. So Chana Kinchi won't get a lap time in qualifying. What about Xander Van Dyken and his teammates in RHG? So Chana Kinchi qualified second in Bahrain, will qualify probably 10th here in Brazil. And Xander also lifts off his lap. So both the RHGs having a terrible start to terrible end to qualifying. What about Sergio Sabrino in race clutch? Can he get himself a good time here in this session? 16.852 in that first set. That was a couple tenths down off what Chana Kinchi did. So not ideal at all for Sergio as he heads through up in towards turn 6 and 7. We'll keep on board with him for this lap, as unfortunately both the ones ahead didn't or won't complete their qualifying runs. So Sergio down in towards turn 8 so far. Very nice indeed. Then he'll switch it back to left at turn 9. Keep it to the inside. Get on the power nose early as you head down in towards the hairpin corner at turn 10. Yellow flags ahead. Hopefully both the RHGs get out the way very nicely for Sergio to charge through Maguglio down towards Junsao at turn 12. We'll see what he can do in that middle sector for Sergio. Will it be a 50.439 goes purple in that middle sector? So we'll see. Can Sergio Sabrino try and put himself on pole for race clutch out of turn 13 through turns 14 and 15? What can Sergio Sabrino do as he heads up towards the line? His teammates standing 14th. Can Sergio get himself onto the front row? Up to the line, goes third with a 107.124. Just trying to find a few more people to come through. Max Wiesel, who's currently on pole. He's 41,000 up in that first sector. He's heading down in towards turn 10. I think Daniel was also on that time. We'll see what he can do as he heads up towards the line. Daniel Kelson goes third with a 107.07 to his teammate. Simon Lukovsky is also heading up towards the line. What can he do for Veloce up to the line? He goes P6. So back to Max Wiesel. He heads through out of the final couple of corners, up by 19 thousandths of a second. That will be good enough to retain his pole position. Up towards the line for Max Wiesel. Can he get himself onto the front row and keep on the front row? Yes, he can. And Louis Welch into the top 3. What a lap time there from the SRT driver. Perfect. Jan Herde says 6th. What about Istvan Pukki? Can he take pole? And he matches Max Wiesel. God. They match times. 0.007 for the two of them. Tietton and Ferrari matching here in qualifying. I've never ever seen that before.
I've never seen it. That is unbelievable. And with a dead heat, of course, it's the driver who gets in first who takes pole position. And that means it is Max Wiesel pole position. Look at that. Xander Van der Deeken got a lap time in. 107.026 at the end. That is unbelievable. They've both done a 107.007, but it is going to be Max, who starts on pole because he got there first. But wow, that's TF10 and Ferrari matching times. Unbelievable.
I've never seen that in my life, and it also seems that RHG also just let off on that lap, so they did get a second run in, and Zan van Dijk can pop himself into third, just 19 tenths off Istvan and Max. And we have Louis Welch, Daniel Kjeldsen, Sergio Sabrino, Jan Halliday, Chana Kinchi, Simon Lukomsky, and Lefty in the top 10. But the top two separated by nothing, 0.000 of a second. That
Look at the top five, 65,000.
I've never seen this before. I have never ever seen this before. That is absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, we don't get straight into the race because we're going to have a restart for the lobby. So we'll just load the lobby now. We'll get ourselves back onto the camera screens quickly. As I just need to get Josh's camera back on. And
I'm here.
we can head ourselves back over towards the intermission screen, as obviously the race won't begin, as we do have that mandatory restart either way. And there we are, our faces on the screen. So welcome back, everybody. And that is qualifying finish, but yeah, that was surprise at the end. Nil.
Really?
0.000 between the top two. So we'll get the new lobby up, then the drivers will get sorted into their grids. Reminds me, before we get into the race, we'll have a quick word from our sponsors at GT Omega. So, welcome back, everyone. Back after the advert there from GT Omega. Remember, you can have 5% off if you use the code PSGL when you go to the GT Omega store. Chairs are absolutely great. We got these a couple seasons back. Back in season 32, I got them, so that's about a year ago. And this chair's still in the condition it was then. So they last a long time. They're relatively cheap for what you get in terms of quality. So make sure if you want to get yourself a quick, maybe an early birthday or Christmas present, head over to GT Omega and you can get one of their chairs with that code PSGL for 5% off your order. And in the chat there, Smokey says, where's SRT? They're 4th and 10th. And he also says, who invited Nathan Richards? Well, don't know, but no one invited you either, did they? So, yeah. And Lucas says he's McPete. And Christian says, Max the go-to Grand Pro. Yeah, so a lot of people happy for Louis, a lot of people happy for Max. But yeah, a very good ending to qualify. And we'll get back into the race soon. We're going to join the lobby quickly as Louis Welch will be setting it up. Obviously, he's going to be starting P4 for SRT. So I believe they're currently 8th in the championship. We'll have a quick look at the championship now if we have some time. You can see there, SRT 8th, 13 points to their name. They've got both drivers in the top 10, 4th and 10th. They're in a very good position in going into this race, but you never know what can all unfold down at turn 1 here at Brazil.
Yeah.
Obviously, still Ferrari lead the way with race coach, so I wouldn't say they lead the way, but they're drawn on points at 53 apiece. And we've got one Ferrari starting second, the other one starting, I think it was P15, and then race coach we've got a driver starting 4th, and the other one starting P14. So both at the top two had the driver rating qualifying. Williams will start from the back, 19th and 20th, as they had their qualifying bans for submitting their lineup too late. RHG they start, it was 3rd and 8th if I remember correctly. Veloce start, I think 5th and 9th. TF10 start 1st and 14th. FVR starts 16th and I think 12th. SRT 4th and 10th. Room 16th and 17th. And Tomasheng 5th and 15th. I can't remember. I'm just trying to guess, but I think I'm around the right lines of where they qualified.
You've got it, I think, yeah.
So I'm close enough. I'll be happy with that. We'll quickly look at the lineup so you can quickly see if anyone's late to qualify. So this is the lineup. We'll just have it onto the screen for a moment. So obviously, I should be on the likes of Yannick and Will. I thought it was Ishmael Will. Sorry, it's Yannick and Will who are racing for Williams. Remember, they had their qualifying ban, so we didn't see them in qualifying. So we'll see their Williams livery for the first time here in the race at Brazil. They'll be starting 19th and 20th. Which one starts 19th and which one starts 20th? I don't know, but it will obviously be one of them. So that is the lineup here for tonight's race at Brazil. We'll go back to our intermission screen. Why we talk nonsense for the next 5 minutes while Louis Welch sets up the lobby, as everyone's just heading into the lobby now. We've got the two Williams, the two Alpines. You've got both the TES. So everyone's just heading into the lobby nice and quickly, which is always good to see, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see what it says in the regulations. I think it's going to be based on what time they did in qualifying. So, in terms of the preseason one. oh, they just lined up in a random order because they started up at the back of the grid. So I presume, a bit like what happens in Formula One, whoever gets in the lobby first will start 19th on the grid.
Could be. I don't know.
But we ordered the grid, so
Yeah.
it's confusing, isn't it? We'll just see where they end up. They're at the back of the grid anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you're 19th or 20th. You're at the back of the grid. Look at what happened with Danny Ricciardo and Oscar Piastri during the weekend as well, when they went a lap down.
Well,
that was a worse penalty.
I'd like to say that the PSGL shooter race control are probably a little bit better than the FIA. We'll make that a bit clear. And then
I was going to say, you're going to divide the chat room.
Well,
I'm joking.
If anyone says that FIA are better than PSGL, I think Connor and Crypto will be hoping they'll see themselves out.
Don't know, Crypto gets quite a bit of controversy himself.
He does, but as they say, the best always get the most hate.
He did. That's true, but I swear last year he won our most controversial steward award.
He did, yeah, or something like that. He won something about being the most controversial or the best steward or something. So at least he won something.
Most controversial caused a year, I think, was the what was it called? The FPS, and then it was the hacks, wasn't it? The cheats, the setup things. Can't remember what they're called.
The cheats, they're back. Josh, you've been away for too long. The cheats have been here the whole time.
I know. I can't remember the name of them though. It's just gone out of my head.
Grip hacks.
That's the one. Grip hacks. Yeah, that one last year, didn't it? Biggest controversy.
Yeah. And it's going to be looking to be that again, but I don't think anyone here cheats, which is a good thing. And all the cheaters, luckily, there's a lot less on the game this time around, so that's an improvement. But enough of that situation. I don't think we want to get ourselves too involved in this controversy of cheating, as there's lots of different opinions on it all. I'm not going to express mine. So
it's wrong.
Well, it is wrong, but I mean, on who is cheating and who isn't, because that is also a thing that's quite popular within the game. People will say, "Oh, that person's cheating," the person says they're not. So it's all a guessing game, which is why I'll just say, unless there's proof, they're not cheating. Simple. That way you can't get hated by anyone. So I'll just play it the safe way. But we're going to get away into the race shortly. We've got 20 of the drivers in the lobby, so now it'll be down to Lou just to sort out the grid, and then we'll shortly see which Williams starts 19th and which Williams starts in 20th. Will was in the chat earlier. Will, any insight who of you two will be starting 19th and 20th? Saves us the whole wait before the race.
So I think he might hopefully get through to us. I hope he sends us a message. I have a look on the Discord in the chat, see if there's anyone as well. Max remains on pole position. I don't know who exactly. There's actually a lot of talk about this as to who's starting where in the positioning. So, and now they don't know who to put on pole position.
Why?
Don't know. They're arguing about who to put on pole position because. Oh, they're arguing because they have set the same lap time. But in terms of sector time, Esteban, I believe, is faster. But that's not the way it goes. Because I think he was faster in Sector 2 than Sector 3. But it's not the way it goes. The race order in case of dead heat, it says so in the regulations. In the regulations, it says if it's a dead heat, the driver who got there first will start on pole position because that is the name of the game. That he got there first. They've just matched that time. So, yeah, I agree that it's going to remain with Max on pole position.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was a bit weird. That.
Well, you've got at this point you've got to try and do everything you can, and yeah, Max will stand pole. It will be second for Isam Pukki, then third for Xander Van Dyken, which I don't think he was going to set a lap time because they both backed out on their first laps. Chan obviously went wide. Xander, I think, might have went purposely off his lap to burn a little bit more fuel for his final run, which he did and got himself only 19th thousandths off pole. So considering he only had that final run at the end and missed out on his first run, it's a great job to put himself onto that the front of that second row. But we're waiting more and more now for when we start the race, and hopefully we start soon because they're still asking about this: who's on pole, who's not. Well, I think it's clear that one of them will be on pole, so hopefully we can get underway very shortly. Let us know in the chat a little bit early before the race starts, but who you think will take victory, or who you think will be on the podium. The top three is, before starting the race, will be Max, Istvan and Xander. Let us know in the chat who you think will finish in the top three. Because there's many people who could work their way up. Chanakinchi starting P8. I expected him to be a little bit higher. Obviously, he made a bit of a mistake on his first Q3, and I think he must have went a little bit wide somewhere because he did lose about a tenth and a half on his final run. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do, but hopefully he can get himself up and around that top 5 for RHG, who, reminder on the standings, are currently sitting down in P4. They're about 20-ish points back off of Ferrari and Race Clutch, and obviously the top 4 there are all the 4 teams that made it through without the qualifying, which is Ferrari, Race Clutch, Williams, and RHG. And that is probably what we expected to see before the season even started. But we'll get ourselves underway very shortly. We're just waiting and waffling on until we get everyone ready enough.
Missing.
No one, everyone's in. We're just going to wait for Lou to set the lobby up. And in the chat, and doesn't say the one who sets first is on pole. Yeah, of course, that is what we know. But I think people are just trying to, clutch at every little straw they can at this point. There's money on the line, £750 on the line. So if you can get yourself a cheeky little report, why not try it? You never know. It can always work. It might not, but at least you tried. That's what I say, at least. But yeah. And we're getting underway. Everyone's readying up. So we have 30 seconds to go before we start the Grand Prix. Obviously, no formation that because there's still a bit of a glitch. So it would just be, 5 lights out, 36 laps of racing. If we get safety cars, that will make it, probably about 30 laps of racing because we'll probably have at least 1 or 2 around a track like this. It's normally a very, very interesting track when it comes to on-track incidents. We normally see quite a couple of people in the wall. But we'll get started shortly. Max Wiesel just in the chat. Max, good luck on pole. Let's hope you can do what Max Verstappen can do. And if not, then, yeah, it's not ideal at all. You finished 11th last time, so first would be very good indeed. And hello, Matthias. Hello, Dylan. Welcome into the chat. Here just in time before we start. We're going to get ourselves back to the main street so you don't have to look at my face for any longer, because that is the last thing we all want. And Josh, we don't have the timer anymore, so we've got to waffle on until we actually start. So we'll just wait for a couple more people to ready up. But who are your predictions? What do you, who do you think will get first, second, and third?
It's so hard to tell, isn't it? I think Max, as well as Xander, and then I think Esteban. I think it's somewhere in that order is a safe bet to see who's going to go into the race later on today. Anyone else? Mystery.
For the win, I'm going to go a bit more devious, I suppose. I'll say the person who starts last the first challenge. So one of the Williams, in my prediction, will take victory, but that is most likely, going to be wrong. But if I do win, I believe I should get some sort of gift for giving them, the gift of the commentator, which is normally the opposite of a gift. It's normally a very big curse. So they're going to go from 20th and going to finish 20th, and I said that. So I'm very sorry in advance, Williams. But we get started very shortly. We've got to wait for players, so we get this boring old screen just looking at the pit wall. We don't have a screen. We don't have the timer screen at the top, so we don't actually know when it starts. So it normally, even though we know it's coming, it still jumps at us. So we'll have to get it on time. 5 lights down towards turn 1. It's quite a short running towards that first corner compared to other tracks, and then the centre S is normally a bit of like an S chicane is the last thing you want down at turn 1 on the first lap.
Interesting fact, it's actually a shorter run down to turn 1 than it is at Monaco.
Oh, so it's one of the shortest then, I believe, in this calendar.
Yeah.
And
really tiny.
Well, in this calendar, it is the shortest because obviously we're off to Monaco in round 4, but as you just said, Josh, it's a shorter run here. So, yeah, we've got 2 of the shortest runs down towards turn 1 in an 8-race calendar. Now, how about that? So, still waiting for players, still waiting for everyone to sort their setups, speak with their engineers, get all the necessary things in preparation, ready for the 36 laps. Then we get underway. So, 1 light, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th light, and it is Max on pole, Istvan in second, down towards turn 1. Who gets a better start? It looked like a great start there from the Ferrari driver, Istvan Pukki. Max tries to cover him off in towards turn 1, but Istvan will stick it up to the inside as they head down in towards that first corner. Soft tyres for Istvan Pukki, hard tyres for Max Wiesel, side by side, and Istvan Pukki takes the lead. Down at turn 3, down towards turn 4 they go, down that retro apostrophe, going 4 wide between, I think it's Xander, Jan, Louis and Sergio in towards turn 4. Jan Hardy popped himself into P3. We're just going to try and get the tyres on the screen. As we can see, softs for Istvan, softs for Jan, and hards for pretty much everyone else. As you can see, that's Boris and Chan. Chan drops down to B20. Incident there on lap 1, and he drops all the way down to the back of the field. Big shame for him indeed. But Williams moved up to P17 and P18. Good start for the top, I suppose you could say the top 3. And we've also got Nelson, Tomek and Oscar also on the soft tyres, but everyone else, Josh, on the hard tyres.
And there goes Jan Halliday up the inside, trying to have a go at Max. Yeah, so now we see why we're seeing the top 2 being so fast. The Esteban Pukki Puking and Halliday both on soft tyres. Fabulous getaway from the Ferrari on the inside line down to turn 1. Had so much more traction and really has gone in pushing. So Max Wissel playing the long game. Ferrari with Esteban Puki playing short game. Here comes Max again in the slipstream. We've got McLaren already with Nelson trying to pass Lemonski further back. Brilliant start to this race. Once again, the track giving us a lot of action.
Indeed, into turn 1, Nelson Alves now pops himself into P7 ahead of the two Veloci Academy drivers. Then further back, we've got Andre Tribucan still fighting with Lefted into Warner's Lefted and Andre Ray then at turn 3. Both of them making contact, and it's like what we saw early on in, I think it was in sprint qualifying, IRL, an Alpine and a Aston Martin coming together down at turn 3. So they'll drop down to P18 and P19, and not good at all for the championship leaders at Race Clutch. They got their drivers still fighting towards turn 4. They go side by side, and Andre, I think, just about gets himself ahead on this occasion. Yes, he does. Into 18th position for Andres Harabikin. But with that battling, they're going to have a bit of a personal fight throughout this whole race, and they'll be trying to send dice bombs wherever they can, I think, at this point.
Sergio. Look at Sergio Sabrino, starting to go across to P7 in the battle with Daniel Jensen because they've been passed by Nelson Ives as well. Everyone on the soft tyres making so much ground on those on the hards. Complete polar opposite of strategies going on here. And that's why we're seeing at the moment Daniel being so much faster. I think there's a Ferrari there. Oh, Thomas trying to go right round the outside, getting the slipstream on as well. He's going to drag Oscar Villacampa into the mix as well as we come down towards the centre S. Who knows what's going to be on the inside line? Villacampa goes on the inside line. It's Mike Campa finally catches up, and Oscar Villacampa through into 10th position, and Watsky down to 11th. But now with Daniel Jensen in trouble, Thomas up to 8th on those soft tyres.
Yeah, perfect start as well from Yannick Schmidt. Started P19, he's now in P12. His teammate started last, and he's now into P15. So Williams doing a great job so far in this race. So we head through, back up towards turn 6. I'm going back on board with Daniel Hjeltons, who's right on the back of Oscar Villacampa, who's on the soft compounded tyre, as they head down in towards turn 8. And still, it is Istvan Puki leading ahead of Jan Halliday, started on the soft tyres, ahead of Max Lewins, Zanderhoer on the hards. Then we've got Nelson on the soft, Sergio on the hards, and then the two following, which is Tomasz and Oscar, also on the soft tyres.
Currently, Golo's just come into the pit lane and he's put on medium compound tyres. He's risking going a lap down here, but he wants to try and gain some traction on everybody else in the field. So FVR very much already on the back foot. Lap 3 of 36.
Yeah, big shame though for Cardona. He must have got some damage, I think, from someone. That's why he's pitted so early. And Nardi Perez also, he's had a decent start. 16th to 13th, only going forward there for Nardi Perez. Down back towards turn 1 we go, and Daniel getting very close to the back of Oscar Villacampa, just not close enough to make an overtake. Remember, it is hards versus softs. So I'm surprised that Daniel is holding on here to Oscar so well. As I head down towards turn 4, you can see there, it seems like Daniel's got a bit of better straight line speed in towards this corner. Isn't really going to burn any battery, just 6 behind the back of the Red Bull TF10 as I head through turn 5 and back through towards turn 6 and 7. And Josh, this is what we spoke about earlier. It is just a long DRS train.
Yeah, and as we're seeing, Oscar Villacampa does not want to pass Thomas, because then Thomas can just do exactly what we're seeing Oscar doing, just sort of lifting off, saving those soft tyres. So basically, Thomas is doing all the hard work of getting past Sergio Sabrino. Then he's stuck behind Nelson. So, as you say, DRS train, tyre-saving train. Those on the softs are faster. The only two at the front that needed to make the getaway was Istvan Puki and Halliday. They've done that, and now they're just sort of going to sit out front and hope their tyres don't die before pit stops come around.
Yeah, and obviously they'll probably go into a set of hards. Maybe they're going to a set of mediums. I'm not quite sure when it comes to strategy around this circuit. But obviously we know that those on the hards will go to a softer compound. We know that those on the softs will go to a harder compound, as you need to make one mandatory pit stop onto a different tyre compound. And I don't think it will rain, so I don't think we need to worry about that. I don't think we need to worry about that rule being voided. It would be nice to see some rain around here, but I don't think that's very possible at the moment. So into turn 4, you can see Louis Welch just holding on to that 1 second gap to Max Face. Yeah, just 8.5 tenths as they enter turn 4 and under a lot of pressure from Xander Van Darkenen sitting in the P5. Started P3, obviously with Jan and that moving up the field. He dropped down to P5, and Louis Welch also getting that nice move on him indeed. Then in towards that first couple of corners, we've got Nelson Alves sitting right behind these two in P6 on those soft tyres. Of course, they will be quicker probably than those 3 ahead as they head down towards turn 10. Do we see an overtake there from the TES driver? No, we don't just yet. But both of them, Jan and Nelson, going onto the soft tyres along with the 2 Ferraris, so they all think that that soft to harder compound tyre strategy is the way to go, but not many others have followed in suit with them. So obviously we'll see how the strategy plans out as we get towards the end of the race. So beginning lap 6 of 36. Now 30 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and a move further ahead. That's Xander Van Dyken to the inside of Louis Welch. In towards turn 1 they go. Xander up the inside. Can he get that move completed? Yes, he does. Very nice move there from the RXG driver to put himself into that top 4. And Louis now down to P5. Can Louis get a good run down towards turn 4? I don't know if you get a good enough run, but he will definitely get a decent run.
Though. He's got the DRS though, and I don't think Xander does. So just getting a little bit more traction, but you were right as well, Richie. And now look at this. Max Vissel's really held up with this time Puck and Jan Halliday. And I thought the soft tyres were going to be running away. It hasn't worked. It has not worked.
Sorry there, the mic was muted. So, I forgot to unmute it again. Right, so Louis Welch in P5, just sitting right behind Xander Van Dyken, who's now got himself comfortably within the DRS of Max Fiesler, and then the top 2 being his son and Jan. So we'll see what can happen here, and maybe Xander will go for a move ahead of Max. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens with this, but I'm not sure we'll see many moves at the top, as it's not something we always see. You know, if you're not new to league racing, you'll know the top 3 never really change in a race. They kind of stay where they are until the pit stops arrive, and then it's chaos, and then it'll go back down to being calm for the next few laps. So back then towards turn 1, as I say that, Jan Halliday makes a move for the lead in towards turn 1 to put himself ahead of his son Perkin. Also Max Fiesel sitting comfortably behind on those hard tyres. Got some great pace, so already these softs are starting to die, or Max has just got some unbelievable pace because he's got a great run out of turn 3, inside of this one, Pookie down towards turn 4, and what a move there from Max Fiesel.
Oh, go on! I thought he might go for Jan Halliday there. It was right alongside. That is great. The hard tyres have started to warm up, so the softs have died after 6 laps. Come on, Max. Can you get through on Jan Halliday? Make it a good move. And how in real life is this? It's McLaren being hunted by a Red Bull with a Ferrari trailing at the back.
Well, so far, I wouldn't say the softs have died, but they're definitely on their dying stage, I suppose we could say. They're definitely getting a little bit slower now. They've lost that, you know, as you could say, the qualifying edge, being really, really quick, being the best on the track. They're now 6 or 7 laps old, so they will lose time, and they'll start to lose time more and more as the drop-off hits. As you know, the drop-off in this game, it's instant, pretty much.
Huge,
if tyres are fine, then you hit that, I think it's about 20%, 20-30%. The tyres will just drop down completely, and you'll lose lots of pace out of nowhere. Some drivers deal with it well, some others don't, so I definitely doesn't deal with it.
Max round the outside line and towards the centre S, and he's going to have to lead, and it's Van Perky on the inside line, trying to pass Jan Halliday, late on the brakes of the centre S. He won't have the traction to keep that position because he was on the outside. He'll have a run down the retroposter to try and have a go. DRS going to be activating, and look at Xander Van der Deeken as well. He's going to be right there to have an opportunity, and Jan's trying to attack Max as well. We've got another fight for the lead, so watch out. My hot tip here, Max has got the lead. Watch out for Xander and Louis.
Yeah, those two are definitely keeping themselves in behind. Shortly, they'll get themselves ahead of the 2 soft runners. And also, you can see Daniel Kjelsen get himself ahead of Oscar Villacampa now, looking to get himself ahead of Paragic as they head down towards turn 8. These softs dying quickly now, you can see. You know, Tomac, he's lost, what, 7 tenths behind Sergio Sobrino. Sergio was at one point outside the 1 second gap to Nelson. He's now 2 tenths behind. So these softs starting to slowly drop off. Nelson, though, he's doing well to keep himself onto the back of Louis Welch as they head down in towards John Sow. So I'm still on board with Daniel Kjelsen. We'll see if he can get himself ahead of the Ferrari driver Tomac Paragic down towards turn 1. And also behind you can see Villacampa getting a good run on... No, sorry, that's Lukomsky getting a good run on Villacampa down towards that first corner. So I don't think we'll see a fight for the lead, but we might see a fight here for P8 and P9. In towards turn 1, inside line there for Kjelsen. Puts himself right on the brakes into turn 1, gets himself ahead of Paragic. Also Lukomsky getting himself ahead of Villacampa, but has a bit of a dodgy exit at turn 2. Good exit out to turn 3 for Oscar Villacampa. Going to try and get a run down towards turn 4. It's not going to be enough.
Xander Van der Deeken trying to go on the outside of his Van Perky in. Oh, and that was a Ferrari nearly getting sideways. Where the back was Thomas having a little bit of a back with Jensen. I hope that was just my screen glitching. There was a little bit of drama between them two. But look at the front. Jan Halliday still holding on to the back of Max. So Max is now backing the soft tyre runners up and letting Xander and Louis just giving him, just deal with the problem for himself. Softs are still there, but they're going to die in the next couple of laps, as Richie said. So ideally, Esteban needs to get ahead of Jan, and then Xander can just go through the pair of them because both are going to use up the tyres.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting on board yet again with Sergio Sobrino. He's closing yet again to the back of Nelson Alves. Down in towards John Say on the hard tyres. Nelson on those 8-lap-old softs. So we'll see what type of run Sergio gets out at turn 12. And it's a decent run, but I don't think it'll be a run to get himself ahead of Nelson towards that first corner. Yannick Schmidt getting himself into P11 ahead of Villacampa. Down in towards turn 1. You remember, Yannick started near off at the bottom. He's now into the top, nearly into the top 10. So far, Yannick Schmidt doing a perfect job. His teammate Will Lewis also sitting in P14. And Villacampa looking for a run at Yannick Schmidt again. They head out to turn 3, down towards turn 4. Good run from Oscar. Bit more battery being used there from Yannick as now Jan Halliday takes the lead back again from Max Wiesling towards turn 4. Obviously, Jan would like to stay behind, but he needs to get past if he's under pressure from Miso and Pookie. So he just makes that move up the inside. Max isn't going to fight it. Jan's not going to fight it that hard. So it's back for Jan in the lead. Max in second. Miso and Pookie still sitting in that top 3. Then we've got the 2 hard runners of Xander and Lewis sitting behind. They really haven't done much at all. They're just sitting where they are, just pulling themselves along, not too eager to make over. They're just keeping their tyres cool, keeping their ERS and managing their race very, very nicely.
So, Jan Halliday leads, lap 10 of 36. Max Vissel in second place. Esteban Pookie third. Xander van der Deeken's in fourth. And Louis Welsh in fifth at the moment. But it's soft, hard, soft, hard, hard, soft, hard, hard, soft, hard, top 10. Sir, I think you've gone mad with power. As look at this, top 3 going right side by side. Here we go. Max is going to have a grab tap. Halliday wide. Where's this time Pookie going to go? Thinks about a move. Max is going to have to go wheel to wheel here. It's not going to work out around the outside of the centre S. And Esteban's going to get the DRS on them too. So it's all to play for. Down 3 wide into Decina Delaga. And it's going to be Esteban Pookie. Oh, and there's a contact in the back. And oh no, it had to happen, didn't it?
You could see Jan just let off there. I knew he didn't want to go 3 wide of that corner, so let off into the braking zone. Istvan got himself back up the inside and put himself into P2. Max back into the lead. And now Xander Van Dijken right on the back of Jan Halliday as they head down in towards turns 8 and 9. So far, very good run from the top 3 and very clean in towards turn 4, considering they entered the corner 3 wide. 2 of them right up that inside apex in towards the 4th corner.
You had a different camera angle. Thomas and Lemonsky had a little bit of contact between each other, and Lemonsky got a little bit unsettled. So did Thomas. So that's Lemonsky back into 9th position. But you faded into the top 3, sweeping round to see Delaga. I was looking further back on the different angle. So a little bit of contact. But now here comes Jan Halliday on a fight back charge with the DRS down to the centre S on Istvan Pookie. And coming in is Xander van der Deeken as well. So this is great. Thomas repassing as well. Lemonsky. Them 2 are going at it. Tristan is past Will Lewis.
Yeah, and you can still see side by side between Prajic and Lukovsky through it to turn 3. The curve of the Sol back down towards turn 4. Inside line again for Prajic as they head down. That's Yannick Schmidt getting involved. 3 wide in towards turn 4. And Yannick Schmidt just popped himself through. Bit of contact there, but Yannick Schmidt into the top 9. Started at the back. A very nice job indeed, but he came out of absolutely nowhere there in towards turn 4. Popped himself ahead of both of the 2 Polish drivers of Tomasz and Szymon Lukomski to put themselves into P9. But yeah, pretty much out of nowhere from Yannick Schmidt. So Will Lewis still sitting in P14 behind Tristan, so he would like to get himself ahead as soon as he can to try and get himself back into that 1 second trail of the top 12. So very good start for Yannick. Still a good start for Will Lewis, but just not the start I don't think is ideal.
Great racing this, just like it was a week ago in Bahrain as well. The Sao Paulo is delivering as they again have another attack. Here comes Jan Halliday in. We're watching Nelson at the moment, but Jan's in the attack as well towards turn number 1. Has the DRS as Van der Deeken is in 4th position, passing Louis Welsh. So they're all just changing on my screen, but they're all so close together.
Yep, and then further back we've got Will Lewis ahead of Tristan, we've got Lukomsky ahead of Villacampa, down in towards turns 1, 2 and 3, and then we've got Villacampa fighting back, round the outside at the curve of the Sol to put himself back into P11, he gets himself back into P11, down towards the Cedar de Lager, great move there from him, and then further back we've got a move between Will and Tristan Derbacor in towards turn 4, Noddy Perez also, haven't seen him much at all this race, he's right behind the back of Tristan as they head up towards turn 6 and 7, and so far, we've had 13 laps of great, amazing racing.
Looking closer at the front, and Andrzej Chabukin has been given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings at the front. The R8G of Xander van der Deeken is now going to start clawing up the soft runners of Jan Halliday and Istvan Pookie. He's had enough. He wants to get through, and he is now being under attack from Louis Welsh.
Yep, so down towards turn 1 they go again, and on board with Nelson Alves. We'll see if he gets overtaken by Sergio Sobrino, because Sergio's got a great run down in towards that first corner. I don't think he's going to be close enough this time around. No, he's not. A little bit too far back. Xander Van Dijken, though, he's right on the back of Jan Halliday in towards turn 1. Is he close enough this time around? No, he's not. Just sitting closely behind as they head through. And also Andrea Tarabukin, I notice, has got a 3-second time penalty. So that makes his race go from bad to worse to even worse now. So he'll probably drop down behind Lefty. Does Lefty easily within 3 seconds of him as we watch the top 4 head back in towards the Decida de Lager at turn 4. It's still Max ahead of Visvan, ahead of Jan, ahead of Xander, and then Louis Welch sitting comfortably behind in P5. Doing a great job for Streamline Racing Team, who are doing, well, not very good for Lefty, but it is very good indeed for Louis Welch, who's sitting in a comfortable 5th position.
Ah, look at Xander as well. You can see him from Louis Welch's camera. Just getting so close to Jan. Now we're in the DOS train. There's not a lot of racing going on because the soft tyres are going to start dying. Hards now are sort of just extending their run past half distance. It's getting super annoying. So come on, racy. Although I am glad to see some people have decided to start on softs, because you remember, Richie, back in season 33.
Hards only.
Hards only races, yeah. And then everyone just soft on the same lap. It was the most boring racing we've ever seen. This gives us a little bit of excitement as Tristan passing Will Lewis again for 13th and 14th.
Well, very nice move there from Tristan to put himself ahead of the Williams driver of Will Lewis standing towards turn 1. Not the type of overtake that Will would have wanted. Down towards and a bit more battling down in towards turn 4. So just really looking for a move there on Nelson Alves in towards turn 4. Can he get himself ahead? He's pretty much pushing the TES drivers through in towards turn 4. Could have made that move there, as you could see. Nelson went very defensive in towards turn 4. So Sergio looking for a move, just can't make it work just yet, but needs to get himself through quickly on this soft runner, otherwise he could be under a bit of pressure once the soft runners start to really lose a lot of lap time. So he comes through out to turn on. You can see having to completely lift off in the corners because he just, Nelson just isn't able to carry as much speed through the corners as Sergio is. So they head through out to turn 10, through in towards turn 11 at Magolio, then they'll head in towards John Seb again for the 15th time in this race. They're on towards lap 16. And now, do we see a run out of turn 12 up towards turn 1 for Sergio?
Jan. Sorry, you're going to have to cut over to Xander Van Dijken, because Jan Halliday had a absolute horrible slide. And Thomas as well, but look at... Make the move. This is the opportunity. Because Jan's made the mistake, now you've got to go for it. Capitalise. So, he's not going to. Oh, my God. Just overtake.
So, it's the pits for Nelson and Tomasz. They'll come out on the medium tyres. And, well, you can see Nelson will drop down to P18. Tomasz will drop down to P19 as they head out the pits back down towards that first corner. And, actually, Nelson's come out side by side pretty much with Lefty, I think. So, we'll go on board with that one as they head down towards turn 4. And is there a move from Nelson to there? No, there's not, but you can see he's on a lot better tyres. 15 lap old hards. And Josh, just so you know, your mic keeps cutting out constantly. So just a warning there. I'm not sure what's happened, but it must be something to do with your internet. So, Nelson back up the inside in towards turn 8 on Lefty to get himself ahead. Can he make a move? He's going to have to hook it round the outside at turn 9, then back to the inside at turn 10. Great move there for Nelson. 15 lap old hards versus 0 lap old mediums. We know who will come out in that one ahead. So they head through, then in towards turn 11. They'll come through in towards turn 12. And we've got more in the pits. We've got Jan and Xander. So soft and a hard runner. Back into pits. Oscar Villacampa, Nolly Perez. Also, all heading towards, no, so that was Will Lewis. All heading in towards the pit lane to begin their first and probably only pit stop. So now Nelson on the back of Rande Tarabukin heading down towards turn 1. Side by side. Will it be ahead for Nelson? I think he will be. As they head in towards that first corner, Nelson pops himself into P14. And we're hoping to get Josh back. Josh, welcome back. Can you hear us?
I'm here. Yeah, can you hear me?
There we are. Welcome back, Josh.
Hello. So, into the pit lane then, Xander, and that's interesting. So, it's around Pookie keeping it out there. But now look at that. They're all coming out in the middle of traffic. But crucially, I think ahead of the other medium runners.
They are, and that's nearly 3 wide out of turn 5 between Jan Andre and Tomasz. That could have ended in contact, but they all make it through safe and sound. So they're the two TESs, pretty much net leaders of the race. First and second, Nelson and Jan. Then we got Tomasz. Ooh, bit of a push to pass there from the throw driver on Andre Tarikin. Pops himself into provisionally P3. Then we got Zan van Dijk and finally left it there for P16 and 17 as they head down in towards turn 10. So Zander now on the back of Andre Tarikin. She'll get thrown pretty soon, and there is Van Pookie. Pops himself into the pit lane. He'll head on also onto a set of medium tyres. So lots of undercuts happening so far for drivers. The undercut we know stronger at the start, but as the race gets on, as the overcut drivers come into play, the undercut does slightly start to, the advantage dissolves. Around a track like Qatar, it's not, the undercut doesn't really work because of the DRS train, but around a track like this, because people tend to get a lot of time in that second set to come out at turn 12. If you, on 2 lap no tyres, you get a good exit out of Junseo, you'll have a really good run down to turn 1 to put yourself into that next position ahead of the undercutted driver. So I'm on board with...
That's Esteban. Esteban's just got into the pit lane. He's come out in 12th position. He's now behind Nelson, Jan, and ahead of his teammate, crucially.
Yep, indeed. So the two Ferraris sitting together, 12th and 13th. The two TSs sitting together, 10th and 11th. And then the two Vrooms sit together, 6th and 7th. Obviously, they haven't pitted yet, so everyone 9th above needs to head into the pits. Nelson Alves already on the back of Chana Kinch. Remember, Chan had a bit of an incident on that first lap, dropped all the way down to the rear of the field. He's now pretty much being pushed through into turn 10 by Nelson. And you can see Chan, perfect job, trying to hold everyone up as they head through out to turn 11. You've got Isvan Pookie up the inside of Ian Halliday. Nelson trying to get a move on Chana Kinch heading at turn 12, and you can see, perfect job. Chana Kinch doing what Louis Welch did last time out in Bahrain, just trying to hold all the pack up. So Zander van Dijk can get a move down towards turn 1. They're going 2 wide, 3 wide, in towards this first corner. Who will come out? Then in 4 wide, in towards turn 1. It's going to be the Ferrari of Isvan Pookie to the inside. Chana Kinch is going to be in second. Jan Halliday just get himself ahead of the RSG driver. Both of the TSs get themselves ahead of RSG, and it didn't work as much as Chan would have wanted, but still did a valiant effort to hold them up.
And here comes Esteban Pookie on the inside line of Nelson, down into Retroposta, into Tessina Delaga, and he's through. So Esteban Pookie's taken the net lead of the race, and Nelson wants it back. Nelson's been fighting so hard in this race. He was on the soft tyres, he boxed early, but he made up race pace. Same as Esteban Pookie, went a bit longer on the soft. So this is all-out war. Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, and TS having a complete change of what happened last time in Bahrain. They're now in the fight for the victory. 3-lap-old tyres for Nelson, 2-lap-old tyres for Jan, and then the others is Van Pookie on the 1-lap-old tyres. So he will be a little bit stronger than the others. So now, pits, Louis, Sergio. So these two are going to heading back into pits. Going to be on the alternate overcut strategy, so they will drop down a little bit further than the others would because they've stayed out a bit longer. Boris also heads himself into pit lane, so Max Wiesel still leads away from Nardi Perez. We know Max likes to stay out a little bit longer on strategies. Sometimes work, sometimes doesn't, but he always tries for it. So back down towards turn 1, Zan van Dijk up to the inside of Jan Halliday to put himself through and ahead. Does he get the move in towards turn 1? Yes, he does, into the centre S's. Zan van Dijk ahead of Jan Halliday.
Some really confusing stuff now that we're about to see. DRS open as they come down the Retroposta. Can Jan fight back? No. So Zander's in contention for this one. When does Max Wiesel decide to box? The question, he's got 16 seconds to Esteban Pookie, and he's losing it, but he's on the hard tyres. Arguably, he can go another 2-3 laps.
Yeah, and Chana Kinch still holding people up. Shimon Lekomsky getting through. So just Renault getting through. Will Lewis looking for a way through down towards turn 8. Oscar Villacampa up the inside of Sergio Sobrino in towards turn 9. Does he get himself ahead? We'll go on board with them as they head in towards Biga de Pato. And it will be Sergio back up the inside, trying to get that switcheroo back. And it will be Oscar back to the inside line as they head through out of turn 11. And yet again, now we've got Oscar Villacampa trying to do what Chana Kinch was doing, just trying to hold them up. Max Wiesel into the pits. We'll see where he comes out. Obviously, was fighting earlier on with Sergio Sobrino, and it will be mediums for Max Wiesel. Nardi Perez also into the pits. He'll put himself onto a set of mediums as well. Back then towards turn 1. Sergio Sobrino to the inside of Villacampa and Lekomsky also getting involved. 3-1 nearly to turn 1. It'll be Oscar Villacampa ahead. No, sorry, Sergio Lekomsky ahead, sorry. And that's someone going, well, that's Oscar Villacampa. Oh, that was a little bit of lag down towards
that's a Will Lewis, yeah.
turn 1.
But look at where Max Wiesel's come back out in P9. Yannick Schmitz has gone up into 8th after starting in the back. Williams doing a really impressive run. So Esteban Pookie has the net lead of the race. He's good on tyres. He's good on pace. He might just win this for Ferrari.
He could do. We'll see what they can do. Right, on board with Yannick Schmidt, trying to get himself ahead of Louis Welch. Yannick, remember, started at the back. I said the person who starts last will get the victory. Yannick started last. He's now currently 5 for P7 on the back of Louis, Daniel, Tomasz, as they all head out at turn 10, through in towards Magulio at turn 11, then in towards John Sow. So you can see Tomasz is actually starting to lose a little bit of pace there to Jan Halliday. He's 8.5 tenths back as they head out to the final corner down, well, pretty much the final corner down towards turn 1. Daniel Kjelsen up the inside, round the outside, of Tomac to put himself into P5, down towards turn 1, outside line. Makes the move. Xander Van Dijk making himself into second ahead of Nelson as they head down toward turn 1. 3 wide. You've got Louis Welch getting involved. You've got Tomac still going to try and fight it. Daniel into P5, Louis into P6, and now Yannick Schmidt, can he make something work? He will try. Up the inside, Yannick Schmidt into P7 ahead of the Ferrari. Great move there. I think Tomac went a little bit too wide out to turn 3. Had a bit of a slide. Yannick Schmidt still defends that P7 position away from Tomac as they head out of turn 5 down towards turn 6 and 7. Yannick on a great charge. Louis as well on a great charge through the field.
He's on the inside. I thought Tomac might have a little bit of a slipstream, but he hasn't done it. Fabulous couple of corners there. Daniel, Louis and Yannick working together. Feel sorry for Tomac here. Got ganged up on.
Yeah, that's not the old scenario. We've seen 5th. He's now down in P8, and shortly will be under pressure from Max Wiesel, who's got 5 lap newer tyres. Should be right on the back at the Ferrari in probably about 2 or 3 laps' time. You can see that gap there, just about 7 tenths of a second as they head through in towards turn 12. So on board with Louis Welch. Can he get himself ahead of Kjelsen, put himself into P5, get a very good result here for SRT? Left it in P17. He's not going to make much work from there, so it's all down to Louis Welch. Can he put himself ahead? He's 2.5 tenths back in towards turn 1.
I thought he's going to swap left, then right. Try on the inside line. No, not going to work out there, unfortunately.
So I've got on board Max Wiesel towards the SNRSs, then he'll come through the curb of assault. Can we see move from Max Wiesel shortly to get himself ahead of Tom Parajic? He's at the moment in the best position on 2-lap old tyres. 7, 4, 3, 6-lap old tyres for all those ahead. Max Wiesel in the best position possible, but we know it's a DRS train. Sometimes when the DRS train's there, it's not always easy to make that overcut work, because, you know, everyone's got DRS. So we'll go on board with Max, heading in towards turn 6 and 7. Great rotation through the corner there for the Red Bull. Can he make a lunge into turn 8? He will go for a lunge, has to back out last second. Tomac just defended it perfectly, and Max had to brake a little bit earlier. Otherwise, he would have ended up in the back of the Ferrari. Down towards turn 10 at Piga de Passa. Do we see a move from Max? No, we don't. 6 to the outside line. As we come through into also a bit of a tap there, I think, on the back of Parajic, because these mediums for Max are just so much better. To the inside, a bit of a late move there from the Ferrari in towards turn 12. Bit of contact still as they bump each other through turn 12, back down towards turn 1. Surely now, Max Wiesel should have this move covered. In towards turn 1, Max Wiesel to the inside, should have it down towards turn 1, Josh.
Yeah, he's going to have to take the inside line, I think, because this is going to be blocked off. Oh, he's done the old switcheroo. Round the outside into 1, inside line to 2. Ferrari, give me a little bit of a wiggle. They're so close. Bit of contact, side by side. Max goes through. Brilliant, brilliant. Jenson Button would be proud of that manoeuvre from 2009. But Tomac is right there, back on the inside, backs off. Max takes 8, but he's lost ground. 1.4 seconds now back to Louis and Yannick.
And Kjelsen right to the back of Jan Halliday in towards turn 8. Do we see move up the inside from the Veloce driver? No, we don't. He backs out there. Yannick Schmidt, Louis Welch sitting very comfortably behind this battle as well. And surely you can see these drivers behind who've got so much more pace than the 2 TSs. Their tyres are 2 or 3 laps older than the others behind. Daniel, Louis, Yannick, Max want to get through as quick as they can to try and fight for that lead position, because surely Xander and Isfan, if they're not careful, will start to pull away, because you can see that gap's 8 tenths of a second between Nelson and Xander as they head out to turn 12. Back towards turn 1, a 5-car trade, all 3 tenths apart as they head down in towards that first corner. Do we see a move from the 2 TSs? They'll go side by side into turn 1. Jan's going to get himself ahead of Nelson, just to try and cover off Daniel and Louis in towards turn 1. Daniel's going to go for a move, has nowhere to go, can't get himself ahead of the 2 McLarens in towards that first corner. Out to cover the Sol. Great exit there from Kjelsen, could make him fight down in towards turn 4, but Louis Welch also with a great exit on the back as they head in towards turn 4. Do we see a move from any of them? No, we don't. They all back off for now in towards the Descida de Lager. No one close on to make a move, but you can see Kjelsen got a great run out to turn 5. Can he make a move in towards turn 6 as they head up, and he's a little bit too far back? We'll have to look for it at a different opportunity.
Karakinchek is a 109, 190, but Xander is right up there with his Esteban. There's again a little bit of contact on the inside. That's incredibly brave from Daniel. Round the outside, coming through the oranges corner. Louis going to get the inside line. Louis going to take the pair of them into Pico de Paco. Has to back out of it, and he's going to throw it on the inside. Daniel passes Jan Halliday, coming through. Here comes Louis round the outside of Magullo. No, brilliant from Daniel, but here comes Louis boxes, Richie.
Yep, and now they all go all the way up in towards turn 1. We got Louis right on the back, Yannick on the back, Max Wiesel also right on the back, and Yannick's looking for a move on to Louis Welch. Down towards turn 1, Yannick to the outside, bit of contact nearly. So Louis has to go back to the inside line. Yannick takes P6, can he take P5? In towards turn 1, they go 3 wide, in towards this first corner, and now Yannick back up the inside at turn 2. Gets himself ahead of Nelson Alves. Nelson off the track. Max Wiesel looks to make a move right in the outside of the curve of the Sol. In towards turn 4, great move now, down the Retro Reposta. Max Wiesel looking for a move on Yannick Schmidt. Can he make that move? In towards the Descent of the Log. I know he can't, a little bit too far back as they head through. But now, Max Wiesel on a charge.
And in all that drama, Xander van der Deeken took the lead in turn 1 with exactly the same move. Slipped round the outside, got on the inside line of the second part of the Centre S. So Xander's leading by 5/10. And the Red Bull looking up the inside line, trying to get a move. Max Smith in 6th position. Brilliant. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you could out for that. You're back now with us as we head through in towards turn
It's the
11. Daniel
Wi-Fi.
Kjelsen looking for a move on Jan Hade. Got past his, Jan's teammate last lap now. Looking to get past the other one on this lap. Down towards turn 1 they go. Kjelsen on the perfect strategy at the moment. Ahead of these as they head through towards turn 1. Outside line for Daniel Kjelsen will pretty much smoothly get past. Yeah, but has to switch back to the inside. Can't make the move there. Needs that slipstream in towards turn 1. Inside line for Kjelsen. Tries to get to the inside. He does do a good job, but Jan's going to try and defend it. Can't do so. A bit deep there for Kjelsen. He will lose a bit of traction out to turn 3, but he does keep it still. They head down towards turn 4. Louis Welch looking for a move onto Jan Hade. Jan, yes again, looking for a move back onto Kjelsen in towards turn 4. And now Yannick Schmidt round the outside of Louis Welch. Louis goes back to the inside line. Yannick tries to hold it round, can't do so. Off the track there for Yannick Schmidt as they head through in towards turn 6 and 7. Louis Welch back ahead of Halliday in towards turn 6. Too wide in here, we know. Between Norris and Leclerc, it don't end well, but between Louis and Yannick, it does end well. Now up the inside for Yannick Schmidt in towards turn 8, and that bit of a dive bomb, has to try and hold it round the outside. Jan's just not holding up at all compared to these ones fighting with him.
Max is going to keep on the inside line. Lane's going to try and take Jan through it as well, coming into Magullo. Oh, this is great. This is brilliant. And look at this. Xander and Istvan fighting at the front. They're keeping it together as well.
So we head down back towards turn 1 yet again for the 27th time, or 28th time in this race. Max Wiesel looking for a move onto Jan Halliday. He will have to go to the outside, surely, of the TES driver. He does go to the outside, but no, he switches back to the inside line. They head in towards turn 1. Max is a little near enough alongside. He brakes later to the inside. 5-lap-old new tyres. That's what that does in towards turn 1. Max Wiesel now into P6 on the back of Yannick Schmidt, who's right on the back of Louis Welch, down towards turn 4 as Yannick got the move. No, he hasn't. He's a little bit too far back on Louis in towards this corner, so has to back off for now. But Yannick and Max in a good position. Remember, everyone, Yannick started 20th. He's now fighting for P5. Yannick is doing an absolutely amazing job so far in this race. Remember, his teammate also started down in 19th. He's in P12, so Williams recovering well so far. And in towards turn 8, you can see look, Yannick just trying to get himself ahead of Louis Welch. Louis on a lap younger tyres than Yannick. So surprisingly, Yannick's got a little bit more grip in that car to try and get himself ahead of the SRT driver, Max Wiesel, sitting behind, trying to hunt his prey, trying to make that move where he can to fight for that podium and also fight for that victory. He started on pole the exact same time as Istvan Pukki, now looking to get himself back for the victory. Istvan Pukki sitting in second. Xander Van Dijk is still lead as they head down towards turn 1 again, Josh.
Yeah, now this is a long DRS train because Istvan wants to have a go, but now he's going to have to defend from Daniel. But it's all eyes on Max as well. They come across the line, isn't it? It's so difficult. Is Yannick going to have to go defensive? Jan Halliday is Nelson to the tumor. Yes, switch over. Nothing down through turn 1 just yet as we run again with Max and Yannick Schmitz down the Retro Posta. I don't think there's going to be a move. I think they're all a bit too far back. And they're all, they're saving battery, Richie. They're all saving battery. Yeah, and I'm just on board with Sir just a bit of he's trying to get himself ahead of the two McLarens to put himself into, well, it would be P7 because he's got a lot of newer tyres compared to Jan and Nelson. They head up in towards turn 6 and 7. He's a little bit too far back. Max Wiesel, he's also looking for me there, and Yannick, we're going to cut back to that battle as we come through. In towards turn 9. Yeah, Yannick also looking for a move onto Louis Welch in towards turn 10. And I don't think we'll see a move just yet between any of these. No, we don't. So we head through in towards Magulio again for the 30th time. We've got 6 laps left of this race, and it's, there's 6 laps left. But Yannick and Max looking the strongest at the moment in this train. They've got to start making these moves now, otherwise they're not going to make them at all. Yeah, and if you look at it as well, we've got 11 cars in the fight. This is amazing stuff right now. Xander just holding out. Istvan still in P2. just watching out for Jensen as well, as it all goes a bit sideways. Is Pookie and Jensen battling with each other into turn 1? Can't quite tell from my camera angle. No, they were just separated looking again. But can Max Whistle get a run on Yannick Schmidt coming out of the covered assault down the Retroposter towards Decina de Lager? No, he cannot. So it's all status quo once again as we head up towards Fedodora.
Yep, back on board now with Max Wiesel, trying to get himself back ahead of Yannick Schmidt. Pop himself into the top 5. Started first, now in P6. So, you know, we'd like to end, I think, at least first or second. Wouldn't want to be off the podium at all. That'd be far from what he would have wanted. And Zan Van Dijk going ahead. Some Pookie. There must have been a bit of lag for someone. Sergio Sobrino gets to have ahead of Nelson Alves. They fight side by side through in towards turns 9 and 10. Sergio with the inside line in towards turn 10. Pops himself ahead into P8 ahead of Nelson. And then Shimon also looking to get himself ahead of Nelson as well. He's in P10. Currently to get himself into P9. Right, further up you can see now. Great run out of turn 12 for Max Wiesel. He's trying to get himself ahead of Yannick Schmidt again. Down towards turn number 1. And you can see Yannick is getting some great runs out of that final corner, but he's just not got the straight line speed to fight after Louis, and that puts him under even more pressure from Max Wiesel. Into turn 1, we don't see move there at all from those two. And you can see a little bit further ahead, Jelsen, right to the back of Pookie. He's on better tyres than both those ahead. He should surely be looking to try and shape up a move in towards a Decida de Lager.
Yep, down we go once more, and Esteban is go, go, go. No. He can't get through. This is amazing stuff, though. And I can't believe we're all that 31 to 36. This race has flown by as up to Fedodora. No. Oh, and Esteban is so close. He saved some of the tyres, got younger tyres than Xander van der Deeken. So he should be able to just get through. But it's literally just look at the top 4. They get younger and younger, but lap by lap.
Yeah, 14, 13, 12, 11, 12, 10. So, yeah, it's a bit of an outlier in that whole...
Just back off a bit and we'll be fine.
Yeah, but I don't think Yannick's going to do that at all, is he? He's the last one, I think, in this battle that would back off. I know Yannick very much. He's a very aggressive driver. Reminds me a little bit like Max Verstappen. Can get very annoyed and heated in moments, and sometimes that helps you in racing, other times it doesn't. Max Wiesel now looking to get himself ahead of Yannick Schmidt down towards turn number 1. And a bit of a reminder to remind us how... What?
Sorry, I thought Esteban was going to go for a move.
I was going to say, a bit of a reminder to remind us how old Max Wiesel is. He's looking to try and get past someone who's 20 years younger than him. That is how big the age gap is between Max and Yannick. To the outside, Max Wiesel, the grandpa, looking to get himself into P5 in towards turn 4. Yannick's going to defend to the inside line. Louis also a bit of a blockade in there. What a crap camera angle. We could see anything. Yannick Schmidt into P4, gets himself into P4. Great move there, ahead of Louis Welch and Max Wiesel. Unfortunately, our cameras didn't show us the move. So Max is still stuck in P6. Yannick in 4th. He's fighting after Daniel Jelsen. Max Wiesel looking for a move there in towards turn 8. Could make it, get the penalty. 3-second penalty for Max Wiesel. Now that puts him under more pressure from the likes of Sergio and Jan, who is still fighting side by side. In towards turn 10. Jan Halliday is round the outside. Sergio back to the inside.
Sergio made contact with Jan Halliday, wheel rubbing at the exit of Bico to Paco, so there might be a bit of trouble there. Max getting a penalty. That is not what we needed. But Esteban Pookie had a run on Xander down the Retroposter, lost out an awful lot. Now under pressure from Daniel Jensen as they come across the line once more. Lap 33 of 36. And it's literally a run, and they're side by side. Can they make a move? Oh, Jensen on the inside line. Having a go with Esteban. Oh, there's a little bit of wheel banging. Did Daniel get through? Jensen's batting for 3rd. He's off the track. Yannick Schmidt's coming through with Louis Welsh. Louis going through on the inside line as well. Fantastic stuff. It's 3 wide as we head down the Retroposter towards the Decina de Lager. Max is in there too, and I can't tell. Daniel to 3rd. Louis 4th. Yannick down to 5th. Esteban stays 2nd, but he's a 2nd back to Xander. That's how much the contact cost you.
Yep, in towards turn 6, they go side by side between Louis and Yannick. Louis, well, tries to get himself into P4. Oh. Max has a bit of contact there with Sergio Spino in towards turn 8. Max goes deep. Sergio puts himself back through. Max is now under pressure from Jan Hardy, who he passed about 3 or 4 laps to go. So they head down towards turn 10. Jan back to the inside line of Max Wiesel in towards turn 10. They go, and Max just has a better exit and gets himself back ahead of Jan Hardy, but that was something he did not want at all. So they head back through, down towards turn 1 again for the 34th time in this race. And Louis Welch into the top 4. SRT will be very happy with Louis indeed as they head back down towards turn 1. Daniel Jelsen's got a 1-second gap to the top 2. Louis and Yannick in prime time there to get themselves ahead and put themselves into P3.
Jan's trying to go around the outside of Sergio Sabrina. It didn't work out coming into turn 1, but my goodness me, is this field now split up a little bit. Now, Xander's backed off. He's now only 5 tenths away. Here comes Halliday on the inside line. He's under pressure. Max Witzel back on the inside line. And there's a Ferrari in there too.
Oh.
Thomas trying to pass. Contact. And he's off the track.
Thomas is rammed, isn't he? Yes, he is. He's rammed dead at turn 5.
He's round.
Oh, for the championship leaders, it's all over here at Brazil. Tomasz now down to P12. Will surely be under pressure from the TF10 of Oscar Villacampa for P13. But big shame. Right, back to the front. We begin, well, shortly we'll begin the 35th lap of the race, the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix, which has gone really quick. I cannot believe how quick this race has gone, because every lap, every corner has been battling between everyone in the field, and it has been a truly great race to watch. But we come slowly in towards the closing stages. Now, it is going to be all hell to leather down towards turn 1. Do we see a move for the lead? We haven't seen a move for the lead for a long time. Now, is this the time where Reese Pickett decides to get himself ahead of Xander? I don't think it will be, but Daniel is also closing in. Louis Welch is nearly a second back, so Louis lost a lot of time there on Daniel Kjelsen, as that's also Oscar ahead of Thomas down in towards turn 12 at John Sow.
So it's all continuing to be dramatic once more. Only 2 more racing laps. Esteban must be saving it for the last, but he's gaining time again and again. Daniel's in there too, so it's going to be these 3, I think, who's going to be in the fight. They've put up 1.2 seconds to Louis. Louis going to be under pressure too much to Yannick, so it's these 3 that are going to be the winners of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix for the second round of the year V-Series.
Well, it could be one of these 3, but it could be absolutely none of them. Depends what happens then at turn 1 yet again.
Yeah.
Next lap. The penultimate lap is starting to close, and we get shortly onto the final lap of this race. Colton Nugola, let's hope he doesn't hold anyone up, because he's got to be lapped quite shortly, actually. He's just heading now to turn 13. So,
really
back towards turn 12 we go. Exit of John Sow is key for this final lap of this race. Hjelton trying to close in Pookie and Van Dijk, and down towards turn 1. Great exit there from the Veloce driver. In towards turn 1.
Daniel's got him. He's got such a great exit coming out now. Look, he's got the DRS. This is going to be easier than taking candy from a baby. 3 wide across the line, and Daniel Jensen takes the lead. Esteban Pookie comes around the outside. They're wheel to wheel. Pookie takes the lead. Jensen to second. Xander down to third. And now it's all a slipstream run. And again, Xander's out of it. Daniel pulls to the outside line down the Retroposter, coming into Ticino de Laga, round the outside, wheel to wheel stuff, and he takes it. Esteban forces his way back through on the inside line. There's contact between the 2, but they're still there. Here comes Xander towards Ferradura, and it's literally close stuff. What a first couple of corners.
Yeah, we head down in towards turn 8 yet again. Hjelton tries to get himself ahead of Pookie. This will go down to the line between these 2. A bit lower, we saw with Alonso and Perez, but it will be between Veloce and Ferrari. And also you can see as well that Yannick Schmidt got himself into P4 ahead of Louis Welch. Sergio Sobrino also looking to try and get himself ahead of Sergio, but we go down towards the line yet again, Josh, and it will be Isvan leading them away.
Yep, and it's going to be Xander who'll get the best exit. He's got the slipstream, but he makes a mistake out of it. He oversteers, so it's between Daniel Jensen and Esteban Pookie. Daniel's got the slipstream run. It's up to the line we go. It's going to be a photo finish. Who's going to win here in Sao Paulo? Daniel Jensen closing in, across the line. It's a photo finish, but it's Esteban Pookie who wins round 2 of the season by 75 thousandths of a second. Another photo finish in Sao Paulo. Xander van der Deeken finishes in 3rd, and that is a fantastic end as out goes Thomas at the line.
Absolutely fantastic race. One of the best I've seen in my life. Every single lap there was a battle. Every single lap without fail. And it's something I don't think I've ever seen. We had pole separated by literally nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean 0.000 of a second. And the top 2 at the line finished less than a 1/10 of a second, 75 thousandths between Isvan and Daniel. We'll see them in a second as we look at the final classification from this race when we get to the loading screen. But boy, oh boy, that was an amazing race. And yet again, another way to start off the season here at E-Series. So it will be Ferrari, first one with a victory ahead of Veloce Academy driver Daniel Kjelsen, second, and RHG driver Xander van Dijk in 3rd. Then we have Yannick Schmidt from 19th, to 4th position. Tremendous from him. And then we have Louis Welch in 5th, Sergio Sobrino 6th, Jan Hade 7th, Elson Alves 8th, Simon Komsky 9th, and then Max Wiesel started on pole. Unfortunately, strategy doesn't go his way again. He finishes down in P10. Then we have Williams driver Will Lewis started 20th, finishes 11th, followed by Tristan Derbacourt, Oscar Villacampa, Nadi Perez, Boris Shakasek, Jana Kinchi, Lefted, Andrei Tarabukin, Tomat Prajic, and Koldun N'Golo. What a race that was, Josh.
I'm out of breath, mate. I'm out of breath. What a fantastic race. What an achievement. And I cannot believe we had a dead heat qualifying followed immediately by a dead heat race. 0.073 of a second. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And, well, I don't think we could have ended it in any better way. We're going to pop ourselves onto the interview screen in case we can get anyone to pop in for a quick interview with ourselves. And, yeah, we'll just see what's in the top 3 in the Discord. And hopefully...
Well,
we'll
we've
get a couple of
pinged them,
in.
so we'll have to wait.
Yeah, the usual. We sit here and wait with the interview screen on for about a minute at a time. Hopefully, at least one of them will pop in. It would be nice anyway to get someone in here for an interview after that absolutely fantastic race. Right. And I don't think we'll get anyone in at the moment. We'll pop ourselves back onto the intermission screen just in case someone pops in, but it's just useless looking at that for nothing at all. I should be scanning the Discord. Oh, being yourself in a bit of trouble there. Right. So we're back on your screens. I'm sweaty because that was a great race, and I've got a sore throat, so this is going to make me even more worse. So, Connor, the medication bill's coming through for you, because that was, it was great. I'll keep saying it, but it was probably the best race I've ever commentated on. And Josh, we've commentated on some fantastic races back in F4 and F3 and even in F2, and I don't think we've seen anything like this before, have we? I think the only one that comes close is probably Belgium back in season 33.
That Belgian race was good because it was a dry to a wet race, then back to dry again. So it was constantly changing. But this was a better race, in my opinion, for overall runs because we had drivers starting on the soft tyres who were able to get a better launch straight off the mark. And then they died off sort of around about lap 12, 13. They came in, had mediums, and then everybody else in the hards pitted a lap later because their tyres just dropped dead. And then we had a genuine fight to the end. That was, I think, perhaps one of the best strategy races we've ever seen. And I think Esteban Pukki's now in the interview room as well. So we can have a word with our race winner of 73 thousandths of a second.
Yep, so we'll drag him in quickly. So, Isfan, hello. Can you hear us?
Yo, yeah, loud and clear.
So, welcome in. So, first of all, how does it feel being beaten to pole by nothing?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I was pretty happy with P2 because my lap started terribly. I was 1 tenth down after the first 2 turns, so P2 result after that first sector is alright. So I was pretty much happy with that, to be honest. Yeah, of course, after I saw that it's equal on times, I was a bit how do I say? Sad. Let's say just sad.
Well,
so you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm sure many people would as well. But fight to the line, it was an absolutely great ending to the race. It was, 75 thousandths, less than a tenth between you and Daniel. Was you thinking at one point, because Daniel had better tyres, that it might have been all over?
Yeah, maybe. At the start of sector 2, when I could keep him behind myself, he was still really close and following me really close, but I was focusing just on the last turn out of at the start of the sector 3. So I made everything to get that exit the best I can, and I think it worked out well in the end. So I was just hoping, crossing my fingers, going to the finish line.
Yeah, but still, great race. Well done to get a victory. Obviously, last time it didn't quite go to plan in Bahrain, but this time it does go to plan, and you get yourself onto the podium. Also, a nice victory. Anything from you, Josh, quickly?
Absolutely outstanding today, my friend. Really close in, obviously really close in quality. Really great strategy in the race as well. Soft tyres to start with, going onto the mediums, getting the overcut as well. Pitch perfect. I thought everyone did a great race today, and definitely Ferrari got their strategy right, which is a sentence I haven't said a lot this year.
Yeah, this series you're gonna make that change, man. You're gonna make that change.
Well,
when are you becoming the new team? When are you becoming Ferrari's new strategy director?
Mid race. I was suggesting to go a bit longer.
Well,
anyway, perfectly. Trust the drivers, everyone.
Well done.
Yeah.
Great race. And also great race to your teammate, who unfortunately finished near the back because he had a spin. So, it's fun. We'll speak to you again next time. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me. See you next time.
Right, so next we'll speak to Daniel. Daniel, can you hear us?
Hello, hello.
Hello. So I've seen you a lot of WR. I've seen you a couple of times in PSGL. But this is the first time I've seen you in E-Series, and this time it's for the podium. So first of all, congratulations on that. 75,000 to the line. So you was very close to that victory. How does it feel? How did that race go?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, race went very well, I think. Still, of course, a shame that we missed out on the win by such a small margin, but I think we played a good strategy as a team, and also yeah, it was kind of tricky with these battles because I had to overtake quite a few people, and also defend from behind from Louis, who was on fresh tires, and also Yannick, who was very quick. So ERS management was very tricky, and I think Istvan had a little bit more ERS, which played into his hands. But P2 was or is still a very good result, and great points for the team. And yeah, we'll take it on to the next one and go for it further on in this championship. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Simon also got a good result. I think he finished about P9 or P10. So still very good to have both of you in the top 10 and also to have one of the drivers on the podium. So yet again, well done for that. And before we let you go, is there any tracks on the calendar that you look forward to possibly racing in for this season?
Well, don't really have the calendar in my head right now, but I think Jeddah is the finale. That's always been a strong track for me, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, I will race in Jeddah. And other than that, I think there are just tracks that we can do very well at. Even though I I don't remember them all now, but I think it's always possible to anyways have good races and also good qualies when we do the right preparation, manage to get the laps in quali, which we did today. So yeah, looking forward to coming back and race more.
Yep. So indeed, thanks, and yet again, well done. And I hope to see you again before round 8. So have a good one, Daniel.
Yeah, see you.
So finally, we have Xander. Can you hear us? You're muted.
Yeah, I can.
Hello. So
Yeah.
again, well done. On the final lap of qualifying, was it the plan to let off, or did you make a mistake?
No, no, not really.
Oh, okay. Well, that happened. And you still got yourself P3, right behind Max and Istvan, so still a very good lap. And then talk us through, how did the race go, obviously, from start to finish?
Yeah, good start, I think. I think the pace at the front was quite high, so I had to push really hard in the first stint to keep close to the soft guys. And then it started to neutralize a little bit. We decided to pit early, which was good at the end because I felt like I had the pace even on all the tires. So I'm just disappointed with how I managed the last part of the race, especially when Istvan, I think, collided with Daniel or one of the McLarens. I don't know really who, but so I had him on a gap, and then I just went for it and just didn't have enough battery to maintain the gap. And then both Daniel and Istvan got me at the end. So, but still, I think very good points for the team. Unlucky for Chan. I think he had great pace as well in practice. So hopefully he will be back for next week.
Yeah. Do we expect to see you again this C-Series season?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that is good to hear, and I hope we can see you yet again on the podium. So, Xander, thanks for joining us, and we hope we can see you again for the racing this season.
Thank you, mate.
Right, bye.
Bye.
So, Josh, are you back with us?
I am.
Hello. So, interview's complete. Nice to speak to the top 3. And I'm sorry to cut short with Xander at the end there. I just wanted to get ourselves onto the final few moments before we end the stream. And we can just pop ourselves back onto the mission. Yet again, I'm sharing the Discord. I'm going to be in more trouble. Hopefully you saw nothing too much there. So, back with our faces on the screens. Yet again, great race. Great to have the top 3 with us for an interview. And throughout the grid, there was battles the whole way. And Josh, thoughts on the race? What did you think of it? Out of 10?
10.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't. I don't know why I expected anything different, but still, it was
I
definitely
think
10 out of 10.
I very rarely do that, but that was a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Very good race.
Well, we know that back when I was in F3 and F4, I used to say every race didn't know it was the best race.
Every race.
Well,
although to be fair, the first race you ever commentated on, at PSGL alongside me was the side by side of the line.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much identical.
But I think this time, Josh, you'll let me off and you'll let me agree that this was the best race of the season so far.
If
It's
I'm
probably one of
saying
the,
it, you can say it.
yeah, it's probably one of the best I've ever commentated on ever, genuinely. Apart from a couple others that I've commentated on in the past, it was, generally great. There was battling every single lap, battling every corner, battling not just between the leaders, but between people in P10, 11, 12, people at the back.
Yeah.
Chaos, carnage, everything was throughout us in this race, and also the qualifying. It's for anyone who didn't know what happened in quali, the top two were separated by 0.0000. So literally separated by 0 thousandths of a second. So it would go down to tens of thousands of seconds was separated between the top two. So, that is all from me. Josh, anything from you before we go?
Join us next week where we're at Silverstone. What could possibly go wrong there on November the 15th? It's going to be a very interesting race.
Yes, so thank you all for joining yet again, and thank you everyone in the chat who were here the whole time, giving all the drivers and us support, as it always means a lot. And thank you as well to Connor for putting on, along with GT Omega, this great championship. Remember, 5% off if you use the code PSGL at the checkout on the GT Omega site. As I said before, this show I've had it for about a year and a half now, something like that, and it is still in perfect condition as it was when I had it bought.
Really
Absolutely
is
great.
brilliant.
And it's definitely worth a recommendation for a Christmas present or maybe a birthday present that could be coming up shortly. So
Get
make
it
sure to keep
blue.
that in mind. Yes, the blue and black PSGL colours, of course. And remember that code PSGL, and you get 5% off. It might not seem like a lot, but it definitely helps you and helps us, of course. So thank you all finally, everyone, for joining. We'll be back again next week for round 3 at Silverstone. Have a good week, everyone, and have a good night.